As we are once again alive upon the internet, as I'm kind of waiting for YouTube to actually also show that we are in fact alive upon the internet, which it does start doing there, so that's good. And yeah, did I paste the title and everything everywhere? I look to have done so, and audio looks fine. Yeah, let's get into... Let's go in with this character. And yeah, as the title says, we're gonna do the Lexington video first. I need to make a quick thing for the Lexington video.
Safe area entered.
Which is that we're gonna make a copy here of the base file. And we're gonna call it actually I should call it, if the other one is x.xs, this should be xyz, right? And this is gonna be the Lexi Bell. And yeah, for it, let's we need a space to kind of paste everything over. Let's grab us. Actually, what's underneath the Alma build? I don't even know. I don't even remember what it is. It is a strike. Okay. Oh well, actually we just did that. No, let's do one with the. Yeah, I need to not be in full screen. Although why don't I just equip a Lexington here to start with? Then we have one Lexington at least already in place. Could equip two Lexingtons, but I want to keep one of them in the mailbox. Let's get that a little closer. It's a little wider. Oh, sorry. Let's not cut it like that. Let's cut it when it's like this. There we go. Look at 2.7-ish here. There we go. Okay. So we're gonna do the same thing basically, but then, yeah. Of course, with Lexingtons. Although, you know what I should do is actually make different talents. So yeah, let's keep recalibrating this thing over and over again. So for second, we'll do killer. She'll add to the time we'll need to actually make this, but that's fine. So killer. Actually, I'll resize them all at once. I think that might actually give the cleanest results, right? Killer. Let's put a preservation one as the pistol. Also, should I just grade this? Oh no, I really shouldn't grade this to 27, actually. Just if in case we need the base numbers. And then we'll do fast hands for the chest or something, or well, fast hands maybe for the. No, what's this sledge for the backpack? And then we do Optimist. Actually, Optimist and Strange should be like holster knee pads, kind of brethren. So go there. This goes here. What was trained? It's gonna look just as janky as that one in the end. I don't have ability to skew in here, right? I don't think so. Because I could take it into Photoshop and just skew them to be a little bit more downward facing, but also I kind of like it just being janky. Janky, barely tried stuff, basically. Let's do fast hands for the mask. Let's put the Ranger as the chest. And sadist or something. What do we have left? Sadist. Feature perfect. Oh, and sync even as well. Oh, flatline actually. Now let's do sadist first. It's also completely not worth it. Like, I wonder how many people will even notice that it's all different. But I'll care. So, I'm gonna catch up here. And he just saw the professor at work. Well, the professor is just messing about. We're not doing high science here. We're not doing nuclear fusion. We're doing nuclear farting. It's similar. Plus, HHS is eluding me. I could see that, yeah. Yeah, especially Palisade, if you want to keep the red core. Although it's likely for the hotshot, right? Then yeah, it's gonna be a. I mean, that's basically a super unicorn that you're going after. If you want both the stats and the talent, and then a red core. Okay, but you could likely go with a blue core in there and still do decent. Kind of depends if you just clear the purple, basically. And they did this. Thanks for the great listening. Well, thanks for the kind words. And and yeah, you've come in a weird moment. Even if you like my work, this is basically out there a little bit. We're just making. We're gonna have my voice break because I'm 12. No, we're gonna make a video about the Lexington in a second. Basically, just an addendum to the. I just put the Lexington basically into here, and we're just gonna discuss it a little bit. And I mean, there's not much to say. It's just the best weapon, high end wise. And then I'm just gonna rant about balance for like 10 minutes, and that's gonna be that video. But just as a joke in there, I want to have this, which is kind of a play on this other thing that a lot of people. It's at the end of the build collection, and it's exactly there as well, just as a joke for some people to get, you know. But now we're making a Lexi version of it because I'm gonna start off with the joke of it not being just the best in slot in ARs, it's the best in slot everywhere. Yeah. So we did say this. There was one. There was one. Which one was left? Oh, yeah, well, flatline. Yeah, let's do flatline as the specialization. And then also for the skills. Actually, we should make 2 more for the skills. Somebody at the back end is looking at what I'm doing. Is just like, man, they really can't decide what talent they want, do they? Just jumping around from talent to talent. They're not even shooting in between. Let's go with InSync and Precision Strike. Let's go. Okay. So why is this room so cold? Or am I just... I'm kind of going back to being sick, I feel, having a little bit of a head cold again, but... Actually, future perfect, yeah, that's the future perfect. That's the future perfect. You know, 2 things that would apply to skills. I feel that's kind of fitting. Okay. This kind of looks super janky. And did I try to get better? Lexicon. Just puts you to sleep. Wait, that's what OxyContin is, right? It's sleep medicine. It's not actually available. I just know it by like TV shows and movies because it's not a... That's not a brand that exists in the Europe. And neither RK. Nokia is this, yeah. It's not even just 9-piece. It's 11, 12 piece. So yeah, let's resize all these all together. So they're kind of the same size. Oh, this is not gonna work out for me if I do it like that, right? Yeah. So let's do it like this. Then let's move everything up like this. Basically, because otherwise I'm gonna like put all of these images like way out there in the black space, basically. So, yeah. Actually, I kind of like the look with each different talents and stuff. So we do this, and then we do this. A little smaller. Yeah. That looks about right, right? Gotta look at the specialization one above the... maybe actually a little bit bigger. even a tiny bit more.
Yeah, whatever it takes.
There we go. That kind of lines there. Exactly. We're just all the slots. And it doesn't the use for the Lexington these. You came in at the right moment to ask that because yeah, basically these. Just take your pick. Overall, yeah, measured and killer. Killer solo, measured in group play, or for just general use. Fast stance is decent. Ranger can be decent, especially if you're using the long range, like if you're using by the teeth, kind of effectively. Yeah, preservation can always be good, just as a survivability kind of thing. But the measured and killer are basically now the kind of go-tos for just general use. There we go. And yeah, this build is called the Lexi Bell for no particular reason. It doesn't mean anything, right? We're just giving it like a southern. Don't Google that. But yeah. Upgrading. Well, no, the Elmatastic still exists. Like, we're gonna always keep the Elmatastic, especially even with the old way. Oh, actually, with the Elmatastic, I even had the grenade slot, actually. Yeah, let's do the grenade slot here as well. Actually, I feel Sledge should be there then, right? Sledge should be the grenade slot. What do we have left then? Like, maybe close and personal or something? Vindictive? Stabilize. We should, let's grab, or actually no, let's grab precision strike. It's also one we don't have yet.
There's redundancy, but is there?
Actually, no, this. I'm gonna take that one out. It's kind of the same as this. No, not at all. Yeah. Can I do something? Not without like cutting this thing out. Can I actually wait? Let's see what how this looks. I just wanna. Yeah. Make this work somehow. This might work. And yes, I am in fact a 2-year-old when it comes to making basically non-jokes as with this. You know what? I like it being a little bit jokey. I feel I made too many of these. The SCC level is off the board. Dude, it's even more janky than I wanted it to be. It's fine. Yeah. Grabbing the back.
Firearms training is now available at the shooting range. To book a time slot, report to the range. Those with previous law enforcement or military experience will be prioritized.
Why not? Oh, actually, you guys can see that. Wait, it's behind the game. No, not that one. Where's the other one? Where's the game? There. I made the SAC level. We cheated that SAC level. We did a lot of floor 10s in a few seconds. Just, you know. And hey there, CSP. Now that every agent should put on the bedside table falling asleep. Yeah, exactly. We all dream of Lexi Bell, right? The build. Maybe even the person. Indeed, definitely mature adults here. Who wouldn't? Yeah. Failure
to comply could lead to the expulsion from the secure area.
With the Lexington. You get instantly sledged as well with it because it's a sledged Lexington, so. But yeah, you gotta watch out if you don't go back and pick it back up before you delta. You might throw it and then delta and then you lose it forever. Yeah, I'm kind of thinking of what I want to do with the Lexington with the modifier, actually. I mean, we could just slap a Lexington over it, but I feel that's maybe too simple. How did the modifiers look, kind of? Could we kind of like do a cutout of these with just Lexingtons in them or something? Also, I feel I should do to be in keeping with the newer style of we need to basically put a Lexington over every Lexington. You know, we put the names over the names. Because you might not get that these are all Lexingtons, of course. So also we'll do it like the 511 where we have one like upside down. Just why not? Two more. One for there. And you know what? We'll do the specialization one even like this.
Physical and verbal violence inside the perimeter will not be tolerated.
The other way, inverted.
Secure area.
I think I'm just gonna leave the modifier as the modifier. It's just, or we just do old school style. But yeah, the Lexington didn't exist back then. But then, just we just act as if it's a specialization one. You know what? I like this the they just completely stretched out Lexington there, actually. Let's do that. Where is crop? Oh, this we can't. Yeah, this to miss. That's why. I have two images selected there. We can't crop two images at the same time. That will be illegal. There we go. And yeah, let's catch up here for a second. Like, I assume, yep, exactly. This is a grenade, so you just use. Yep, exactly. Just if I throw the weapon, that will sledge him too, right? Yeah. So we've made this thing. This thing is gonna serve as a point in a second. Yeah. Let's just go to the. Let's just reuse the. We'll reuse the the castle firing range. And thanks so much there for resubscribing there, Sharkan. Glad we could entice you with some stupidity here. This made you subscribe again, right? That was it. That's just you're like, I need more of this in my life. So, but yeah, always appreciate it. We'll be sure to abuse it for the apparels and stuff. They didn't add anything this week, right? Actually, I mean, they have two like long-running bundles going. Actually, I checked her. It's still just the stalker and the thingy bundle. Yeah. Let's actually remake the setup that we normally would have. Then let me actually prep the hard disk and make a folder. My voice just went all over the place there. Oh, and Hideko first. Well, glad. Hopefully that isn't wasting money on apparel, because I teach that a lot as well. It turns Ransom just trundling along through the scene there. Actually, in the meantime, while that's loading up, I could set my main emote to be. What do I even have at the moment? Zen. This is the Christmas caroling one. I'll just stand behind them and do the. Actually, will they bring these emotes back? Oh, that might be the rewards for the harder ones, likely, right? Because we're gonna have from the 10th, we're gonna have the Christmas things, the Christmas projects. And there's gonna be like an easy project stack and a hard one. And unlikely they're gonna just put these things on those. Let me also check that all of this is loading correctly. Yep. It looks so silly. I love it. Okay. Yeah, let me get you up here. Doing DPS give more exactly. Or well, I'm changing the mode. Exactly. Gives you 5% more. If you lecture someone before you kill them, you do more damage against them. It's Lexington. Yeah. And yeah, exactly. Who's ever heard of Alexi Bell? You know, it's like, what would that even be? Don't Google that. Still that. At least not without like incognito. So just what is the Lexington video about? We're gonna do the updated talk. I added the Lexington into this big AR list where, I mean, everybody at this point kind of knows likely already. Like the Lexington is like, if you're gonna use a high-end AR, just use Lexington, which is kind of an annoying thing to say, but we do actually have a best in slot kind of when it comes to AR high ends. At least like the exotics compete with it and stuff, but basically if you're running a high end AR, it should be Lexington. But we need to actually also put that in video form because people keep just also going like, what's your opinions on the Lexington? But my opinions on the Lexingtons are much more about like balance and stuff. So we're gonna also kind of rant about that a little bit of why balance matters. And yeah. Lexington. We don't talk about Lexington. Well, no, that's rule one of Lexington is we don't talk about Lexi Bell. Or maybe we do, you know. I'm not sure real that, which is the joke that I'm also gonna use in here. Yeah, so this is working. Oh yeah, so let's make a folder. 241205 Lexi in depth. But yeah, it's basically going to be the it's going to be in the same way as the AR in depth look, but there's just going to be like gonna call it like the either the Lexi follow up or Lexi addendum. I think follow up. Apparently, turns out a lot of people don't know what addendum is, which might be also like language dependent. Yeah, let's put some files into here already, description file and a thingy. That also means that the hard drive is spooled up. I'm gonna wait for this lady to pick up a weapon again, and then we're gonna... I wanna have the barrel just poke out. So that's gonna be our thingy. And yeah, now we need to wait for her to pick up a weapon again, and then we're gonna do our intro. Although I'm also super nasally, which is gonna kind of suck for this video, but that's fine. I might actually take a little bit of 1K out after. And let's get going. Hi, I'm Lexington, and for today's Lexington, we're gonna Lexington all about the Lexington. And Lexington, we go over the Lexington and see what talents the Lexington should Lexington. And just Lexington. And actually, this video can be super short, as the big question, of course, is how does the Lexington make the AR landscape look? Just after I made the other AR video, and I'm totally not mad about that. Totally not mad. Is the Lexington the best in everything? As far as high-end ARs go, yes. And that is basically the video. Thanks for watching. Goodbye. Why are we still going? Do I have to do the whole thing? Fine, we'll do a whole thing. Hi, I'm IKEA, and we're gonna look at the Lexington. I feel that that's kind of fitting, right? I want this to be basically just yeah, kind of that tone.
Hostile control point identified.
Let's actually see that everything there kind of worked correctly. Lexington, all about the Lexington. And Lexington, we go over the Lexington and see what talents the Lexington should Lexington. And just Lexington. And actually, this video can be super short, as that. Is the Lexington the best in everything? As far as high-end ARs go. Thing. Okay. Yeah, it's fine. There's a few too many actually. I could like a little less in that, but let's actually just go with that. It's fine. Yeah, let me catch up here for one last time before we kind of jump into the big bulk of the video. So can the Elmo still compete, or is that rip too? Elmo, I wouldn't per se. Like Elmo, I wouldn't already. The weapons that can kind of compete, as we're kind of going to see in the big AR list in a second, is mostly more the Strega, the Chameleon, and the Bighorn. The Eagle Bearer can kind of compete as well, just because it can do, you know, special things, especially solo, if you can use its survivability. Elmo's thing is, yeah, it does have that 70 round mag, like, but that's kind of its thing, and it is almost as easy. Well, it's easier to shoot than the Lexington. The thing is though that the Lexington actually doesn't pull to the right the way that the Elmo does, but the Elmo does quite consistently pull to the right. It does have 10 weapon handling basically as well, on top of an M4. So you don't have to, like, the thing is as well, like, just even the worst AR in this list, if you put it on a good striker build, it's fine. Like, even if you put a like ACR or something on a striker build, you can still compete. The thing is though that, yeah, if you're doing stuff, you might as well have the best tools at hand. Lexington definitely kind of fits that at the moment. Yes, I need to have this prepared. Yes. Yeah, let's record us going kind of through this. And to compare them, actually, kind of course, we have added the Lexington, and with we, I mean I, to the both the burst and sustain tables, where actually, you know what, I fumbled over my word, and I hadn't even set this thing up to be in the AR thing, so let's just get it there. We'll just take a mulligan. Let's actually put the other one in the thing there, but. Okay, let's try that again. Let's actually start here. Yeah, that makes more sense as well. And to compare the Lexington, the veteran reward we just got, it is, of course, has been added to the burst and sustain tables. As we can kind of see right away, it is the top burster. Not by a country mile or anything. It is just above the F2000, where we can actually kind of zoom in a little bit, which is this one. We can see that it is just above the F2000, but it doesn't have the downside of the F2000. You got to remember that, as we discussed in the AR comparison video, which this is basically an addendum to, so definitely go watch that kind of as well. Although a lot of it is kind of become outdated because of the Lexington, annoyingly. But the talent section of that is still the way to kind of go with it. What we saw is that the F2000 kind of lands around, when we put it actually on a build, it actually, on a striker at least, falls just behind the FAMAS. They're just right next door to each other. And that's because of this -1 mod, of course. The F2000 has 1 mod slot less for crit chance or crit damage, and that, of course, eats into its damage and pushes it down, same for the Honey Badger and such. So the real top weapon here, as we kind of saw there, was the FAMAS, and the FAMAS is basically 2.7% behind the Lexington. The way that the Lexington is actually set up, for its damage stats, not per se also its handling and such. It isn't a direct copy of the M4, as I keep seeing people say over and over again, and a lot of that is due to its recoil pattern, which is completely different. The Lexington is the M4's base damage and RPM and mag size and also reload. But then the base damage is plus 5%. Now, some have said they did this with the Harvest and it's fine. And they did it with the Harvest and it was kind of fine. Although in the end, and now, because the original Harvest was plus 20% weapon damage. This one is now plus 10. But also that came with a downside. Even originally, even in a weapon that like where we don't really care about the RPM anyway, we're going to use it as a headhunter tool, a determined tool, basically. There it had a downside of minus 18 RPM starting out, 18% RPM. Now it's minus 9% RPM. The Lexington is just getting a plus base damage. No losses to the RPM. This means that, yeah, it will top out the burst chart here, and by a decent margin. Basically, yeah, the M4 was like 2% behind the FAMAS, and this Lexington basically leapfrogs it and goes to being 2 and a bit percent in front of it, making it overall the very best pick. And not just for burst DPS, because this was the thing, as we kind of talked about with the other list, even without going into the full AR list, even here. What we really want is a high burst weapon, and preferably for its other attributes, especially its sustain as well, to not be horrible. And as we scroll up, the FAMAS is down here in sustain. The Lexington is much higher than it in sustain, mostly because the M4 was already above the FAMAS in sustain. So of course, one with 5% more base is gonna perform a lot better than the M4 was. And this makes the Lexington the obvious pick, because also it doesn't have any issues with damage per mag. It is kind of the middle of the pack, but it is a high RPM-ish 50-round weapon. So yeah, it's still, as well, for instance, better than the FAMAS here. And then, of course, the nail in the coffin is that it actually handles really well. It isn't the exact model of the M4. We'll kind of look at that after we look at the damage numbers here, because it pulls straight up, where the M4 has a up and to the right pull, where most weapons actually have that as well. It's also not exactly the Carbine 7 or such. To me, what it really feels like accuracy-wise is, it feels accuracy-wise, so the spread around the center dot, kind of like a Carbine. It's a little bit worse than M4, I feel, although that might just be, you know, me seeing into things. And then it has basically the pull up, the same amount as M4, but it doesn't have the pull to the right, basically, of M4. And it has decent reloads and does everything pretty well. And all of that together leads to it when we actually go to the AR version, which has been updated, and here as well, we have added in the Lexington. We can kind of see that in every category, the Lexington will be the top one, basically. It's the top sadist, it's the top killer then, and then the top measured, and then the top flatline, the top ranger, top strained, and top optimist, and top top, just on top. It's on top and living large, even the top fast hands, of course. And that makes it so that basically overall the Lexington is best in slot. It's been which kind of annoys me. Overall, we had actually a little bit of balance, especially in the AR category. The last video kind of ended with you can go with an FAMAS, you can go with a Fault, you can go with a F2000, you can kind of go with even a Carbine 7 for the faster reloads and such. There was, and even also, yeah, the CTAR was a decent pick overall. Now it's basically just Lexington. If you're using a high-end AR, you should be using your Lexington as long as you have one. The only reason, basically, to not use it is that you don't have it, right? Now, of course, they at least fixed it now that everybody that is around now has one. But we have no idea actually how the Lexington is going to work going forward. Is it basically every Christmas, whoever is around, they're going to hand one out? Is that going to be the thing? Is it? So we kind of need clarity there as well, because same with the Harvest, it was kind of unclear there if it was just like a one-time thing, which in the end it wasn't, but could have been. And they shouldn't do those kind of things, because now, yeah, for instance, on the build collection, I'm going to put a lot of Lexingtons on there. People starting in a month will not have access to the Lexington. So that just feels bad for them, and you just gave the veterans a 5% advantage over newer players, which is like watch points already did that. Why are we adding to that issue basically? That also led me to the Lexington is not just a best in slot for the AR. We had to make one of these again for those that hadn't seen the Elmo version of this a long time ago, which is at the end of the build collection. We already had Elmo version in the past after a certain YouTuber had told us that it's you don't need anything except an Elmo. So we made a build with nothing but Elmos all the way down. In this case, at least, there is some truth to it. It's Lexington's all the way down. And all the way up, especially. So this build being now dubbed the Lexi Bell, because, it's just, this is Southern Bell thing of it's a Lexi, so it's a Lexi Bell. Don't Google that, of course, or do. I'm not your real dad. You can do what you want. But yeah, if we could, we would run Lexi Bells in the Lexis in all of our slots, just to have all of those talents. Let's actually have a look through here, kind of marginally seeing as how far ahead the Lexington actually becomes. So if we kind of look at the status, this is of course an on build. This will also, as always, be linked down below. I should say down there. They'll be in the description to this, and also the folder that contains all of the different versions of the burst and DPS tables and such. The Lexington with the sadist is going to come in, and it's basically now our 0 point. So we're going to just take that as our 0 points instead of the FAMAS that used to be there. We can also actually see that it's even as sadist, it actually jumped over the chameleon with the body active here by a tiny bit. But yeah, of course, again, sadist, you can't have perfect uptime. We should always say this just to make this still complete, but it's in here just to illustrate basically a flat amp going into it. And yeah, Lexington is basically, we see that 2%, 2.5%, or even a little bit more ahead. And that's consistently going to be the thing. And of course, the FAMAS is much more of a beast to handle. It has a much worse stability. It pulls up pretty high in comparison when you unload a mag of it. We're going to actually look at the accuracy a little bit in a second, specifically for the Lexington, seeing as we're just discussing one weapon. But yeah, the Lexington is just on the same talent, is going to be always ahead of basically any other high-end. So while we still have competition, again, just, chameleons, they can be pretty good in just general play. You do need to keep it stacked up. It works better, for instance, if you're doing short things instead of long things. For instance, in missions and stuff, you will keep it re-triggering. Basically, if you under 45 seconds kill everybody, it will reset back to full. That can be quite valuable. Strega actually solo play now is one of the top picks. Bighorn, which is a little bit lower down here, but is still one of the top picks because it is pretty easy to get those headshots in. And this is as well, we're reusing again the numbers as we did before, which is that at grade 27, 20% headshot and 60% DTA. If we even headshot more and try to go for more headshots, the Bighorn does even better. But then the thing with the Bighorn especially as well is that even without stacks, if we go find that here, even without stacks, it's doing pretty well. So it's not all the way down the list. It's still pretty high up even if you're not stacked. But yeah, on the high end, the story basically becomes the Lexington exceeds everything. It'll be basically the killer version of it is at the end of the sadist list. We even have basically the measured version of a Lexington is the same damage as a FAMAS with killer active. Now, of course, killer active again is one of those that we kind of have to quantify for ourselves what we think the uptime will be, because killer, of course, is not just always active. You need to activate it. It needs a kill Sometimes even that kill, for instance, if you're like doing the countdown hunters, killer is kind of a bad talent to have at that point, right? Because you're gonna fight one hunter, you're gonna kill him. It might trigger killer, and then like unless you're on the east, unless you're on the east side, like there is another hunter to kill. If you're on the west side, you're looking at a 20-30 second walk before your next engagement, so killer will be gone by then. But yeah, we kind of see the measured Lexington be next to the FAMAS with killer active. And yeah, this kind of makes it that the Lexington as well, for instance, in the game, as you may have seen, or even on that on that Lexi Bell picture, it's already for me gone to grade 25, basically instantly on multiple accounts. I'm not expecting them to alter this choice soonish, because yeah, they kind of put it out. They've kind of made their bed and we'll have to sleep in it. And it is kind of a downside. And one of the things as well is that there was always, as a balancing factor, the long rail. Weapons, Flatline used to be one of the better talents. Still is. It is still competitive. Not per se, as you can see here, for instance. It is below measured overall. But then this is an averaging out of measured, especially if you... this is basically always unloading fully, although the first half of measured is actually the better part. So you can actually even get a little bit more just by not actually reaching the end continuously. But Flatline used to be an unbalancing factor, basically. And actually, Flatline at this point could use a buff to actually be that again. But it couldn't really be for ARs anymore that way, because it used to be that some of the better weapons did not have a long rail. The Lexington does have a long rail, and as such can take the linked laser pointer. So it basically has everything. It has good handling, the best damage of all the high-end ARs, and it has a long rail as well, even to boot. It is just better. Like the blurb at the start of this video of me just going, we can keep this short, and it's just better. It is. We can even see that actually, for instance, that's the last one we'll kind of point out here specifically, is that the Lexington with fast hands is actually in the middle of some of the optimist weapons, although some of the worst bursters, because yeah, we're still just looking at burst here. We will go to sustain in a second as well. But for instance, yeah, the gap between, even though the FAMAS has a worse reload time, so it benefits more from fast hand, it doesn't actually catch up to it. I wouldn't per se pick fast hands. Again, general picks for talents, just to reiterate those, measured for general play, because it doesn't require anything outside of just firing. It just increases your damage quite a bit. Killer, especially solo, where you're not competing for the kills, killer can be a really good pick. Then fast hands can still be a pick, just to, for me personally, it is not being caught in the reload as often, basically, because you often die while you're reloading. Although, yeah, the changes to fast hands make it less appealing than it used to be. Preservation can still be a good pick. Situational, of course, things like Future Perfect, Ranger as well can be a decent pick, especially if you're now using, for instance, By the Teeth quite a lot. Ranger can actually be one of the better picks for that, because if you're already going to be at 35 meters plus to trigger By the Teeth, not a bad choice, right? So yeah, let's actually go and look at the sustain as well, just briefly, and then we'll go into me ranting a little bit about balance. Yeah, let's cut it there. How long did we go there? That's already 16 minutes. So yeah, I'm gonna go over to 20, I feel here, but it's fine. It's fine. So, how much is it together? Oh, the intro was just 58 seconds. Okay. So far we're in 27. Let me actually have a peek at chat up here. Let me catch up. There you know, full out M16. They might actually do it. Although, yeah, I wonder if they. Oh yeah, they could. They could just remove the bursting of it. But I'm guessing if they were to, because now actually the balancing of the M16 is definitely set up in a way where it's like it's definitely balanced differently than the other weapons, than the weapons that are auto. Yeah, M320s just send 30 millimeters or 40 millimeters everywhere. Just flump. Let me catch up here. Any funky. Someone comment on a video telling me measured factually is worse damage wise than XYZ talent. The worst. Oh, I do know, pal. Wait, what? Video telling me. I mean, the thing is, a lot of people will like, but the balance completely shifted. Like, there's still people out there that go like, Bullet King sucks and Chameleon sucks. Like, no, they got rebalanced to be a lot better than they used to be. Same for Measured and Killer. Like, yeah, they're just so much better than they used to be with their upgrades. And you don't even need like, to me, for instance, people are also going like, oh, maybe your calculations or stuff. I don't even need these calculations. Like, just playing it in the game, you notice how much faster your time to kill basically is, your time to completion becomes. I don't even need these charts to tell me that. And I did this page. Is it complicated to be? Not so much, honestly, right? It's just, the thing is, there is downsides to it. You have to acquire that because it messes with if you're used to a weapon a lot, now you have, instead of that recoil compensation, you have now two different recoil compensations. Because even the first one, like the slower part, is also a different recoil compensation, and then it switches halfway. But you can get, like, I'm already kind of getting used to that. It is still sometimes jarring, especially if I've like fired like 15 rounds. And then I kind of lose track mentally of like how far into the mag I am, and then I start shooting something else, and then the recoil switch kind of happens like when I'm not expecting it. Like, that's still sometimes a little jarring, but especially like with the Lexington versus like a FAMAS, which had like a very different. Like the Lexington barely, you don't even notice that it's even like changing, especially if you're kind of picking stuff like that. Lexington tattoos for everyone. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I should have gotten an LVAC face tattoo for this exactly. With Striker, cause most stacks. The more stacks doesn't per se matter to it. Like, the faster stacking at the start is not really a factor, because you're stacking slower on the second part. But the overall, your RPM does go up on average, and that's help a little bit. But moving one gun up would like stack so much faster. Measured for rifles now. Okay, on rifles I could see it more, but I just wouldn't. Like, none of the rifles reaches a point where it's really striker compatible as the main weapon. Secondary, definitely. I've been using it as secondaries here now. Out of pistols, we'll have to see. The thing with pistols is that, like, at least some of the rifles and stuff that we have are auto or have auto functionality. A lot of the pistols that we have like, we don't have a G18 or something. So it would actually be a little bit odd if they, but just as a thing of life. But I would bet that they would pull pistols down a little bit if they went full auto. That would likely rebalance them down, like the same few percent that rifles kind of got hit with. Get a face tattoo, yeah. Well, you know, whatever you put on your face has made it, basically. So yeah, just put your own name then. Yeah, let's actually do the sustain side of things here and then go on. God damn it. Accidentally. No, I don't want to do carousel mode, whatever that is. I need to not be on the browser when I press F7, which is my start recording button. Which is a lesson you think I would have learned by now. And let's continue on with the sustain end of things as well. As we saw actually in the main burst and sustain tables, the Lexington is halfway up, basically, making it kind of fit what the FAMAS used to be like pre-Project Resolve, why it was the top pick back then completely. And it was the top burster, and then it was decent enough on sustain as well. With the rebalance that they give us, a lot of weapons like the FAMAS actually got balanced to the point where they were, because of their reload speed especially being altered a little bit, they took the thing of, if it's good on burst, it's going to be horrible on sustain, and the other way around. Some of the better weapons on sustain will be some of the worst bursters. Overall, again, as always, in the Vision, we lean much more towards burst DPS than we do towards sustain DPS. But we do want the sustain DPS to be there as well, if we have that pick, basically the opportunity cost wise. And the way it goes, again, as always, to see burst and sustain DPS. Burst is the top, the upper end of the theoretical damage. Sustain is the lower end. Basically, if you were to continuously fire into infinity, where would it flatten out to? And together, they're what we pick for our concept of min-maxing, because the thing with min-maxing, as we have quite often said recently, it's not only about the max, you also care about the min. It's min-maxing. It's not just maxing, it's min-maxing. So you want the min also to be as high as possible. And that is sustain in our world, basically, where it includes reload, basically. Burst does not account for reload or max size or things like that at all, and then we basically leave those out. But then those can be balancing factors, of course, because, for instance, in here we have the AUG that is a different max size. We'll see it a lot more in rifles and LMGs, where there is varying max sizes going around. Going to the Lexington now, though, we see that actually the Lexington with Sadist does not beat the TKB with Sadist here on sustain. But it's being right next door to it should give away that, seeing as it bursts so much higher than its upper line is so much higher than the TKB, and its lower line is just a little bit behind the TKB. So it's going to start higher, and basically the TKB would need a fight of like maybe into the 30 minutes. Well, actually not that much. You would need likely into the 40 to 50 mags expended for the TKB to actually beat the Lexington on basically its average line. And we see that kind of repeated again here as well. The Lexington, while in the sustain end, it isn't the top one. It is in the middle of some of the other things. For instance, here the fast hands next to the TKB again, which is the top sustainer overall. And it's competing well with them. It basically, yeah, again, has no downsides. And that's kind of the issue with it. It is basically the top pick. The only reason to not pick it is because you don't have it. And that's going to happen a lot. Now, of course, everybody has one. It's kind of in the same way as when the Harvest came out. We were all kind of fine with it for those weeks of just like, yeah, we get to have a better weapon for, and especially with the prospect then of the PTS changes and stuff that we knew back then, that the Harvest would be the top pistol for Determined, for instance, running Pistol Determined, which was a popular build. But then the harvest wasn't available, and everyone's like, "Oh, well, what? Yeah, now we have to take a 686." At least now the balance there is just 10%, not the 20% that it was started at. But here as well, in a few weeks, even now, if somebody buys the game now and logs in, do they get a level 1 Lexington? Do they get a veteran reward? Are they a veteran? What does veteran even mean in this case, right? Does this re-trigger next Christmas? Do they have to wait till then to get a Lexington? Because yeah, the Lexington, even though just because some of the exotics exist and we can at least steer people to those. It is just if you're going high end, and going high end is like, even for instance solo, I like going with a high end weapon even on strikers over even when solo versus a Strega or such, just so I can have a Scorpio secondary, because the Scorpio has a lot of value. So yeah, we'll kind of have to see how that aligns. We'll keep it short here on the sustain though. Is that basically, yeah, it's always just behind the TKB basically, and a few of the other top sustainers when it comes to, when we on each of the talents. But it is very high, and then we get this combination basically. It's a top burster. It's really good on sustain, and it doesn't have any other big flaws. Again, like it doesn't have a horrendous mag size. It doesn't have horrendous handling, and that will make it basically. So that's this thing is basically, yeah, not per se in jest. It is, in fact, yeah, and we get to even have to, if we were to want to, and run doubles of them. Yeah, let's take this to a range for a second. I just want to discuss a little bit of its handling characteristics, and then we'll go into a rant. How long was that, actually? I think I did that for, it was 6 minutes, that's fine.
Hostile control point nearby.
Let's go back here. Yeah. Yeah, let me get you up to here as well. G18 with a 50 round T-bag. That'll be interesting. The G18 is actually in the game. It gets used in cutscenes. Like, it's the weapon that gets pulled when you're it's basically all of the cutscenes where you have a pistol in your hand. But it's also the pistol, especially when Keener, like the Keener final cutscene, quite often pops up there. Real question, is Dark Hunter optimal range and accuracy mods versus Lexi? I mean, the thing is, the second you put accuracy or stability mods on a weapon, because I'm per se like not a fan of that, especially on SMGs. The thing is that if you're putting optimal range on an SMG, the SMGs are not that far ahead anymore for that to work out. At that point, you might as well go with an AR. Like, at least on an AR, I kind of can see it, because rifles aren't per se, just more accurate at those distances, unless you're kind of dropping it. But you gotta remember that basically it's a 3% loss, 3 to 4% loss for every mod that you give up. Like that adds up pretty quickly. And especially for myself, I would still take the crit chance mods and stuff. Even now that the accuracy mods and stuff are 30 and are valuable, I would just close the distance. Like, if it's on Hunter's Fury anyway, let's put killer here so we don't have measureds. You need to be in those ranges already where like the accuracy isn't, like, I'm not gonna per se miss more shots just because I don't have the accuracy mod. We just go close enough. Because yeah, if you're gonna, like, if you start stacking, especially on SMGs as well, like handling mods and stuff, there's a point where just you've given up so much damage that you might as well just have gone AR and had that optimal range built in. But that was actually, so I really like the CTAR kind of before the Lexington came in because it did decently well with its new stats. Didn't have that quick reload anymore, but yeah, it was kind of balanced around that. Yeah, let's take it to this. Actually, I need an M4 and a carbine 7 as well. I need to also apparently damage myself. Let's equip FAMAS secondary. Yeah, let's go into this. And let's briefly, kind of talk about handling here, which we generally don't talk about in, well, somewhat briefly. I just throw stuff out there about them in when talking about it in the DPS tables and stuff, because the DPS tables are just that. They're the DPS tables. I expect you to kind of know what the handling of different weapons are. But maybe I should give a brief introduction on how we quite often check for, especially recoil patterns, because the recoil patterns are quite different per weapon. The easiest way is to just you lift up your mouse. If you have a mouse, if you're using a controller, you just don't touch the sticks and you just go. I do this like a bunch of times because there's actually a little bit of variance in it. So for instance, here I'm gonna put it there, and yeah, on mouse lift up, of course, it kind of shifts a little bit. But we can kind of see that's a recoil pattern of the FAMAS. Very, although actually, so for instance, one thing to do as well is not per se do it on Striker, which I should have realized that was on there. Let's grab this Pesty build, which is definitely not made for this, but. And although as well, we'll teach this as a teaching moment. We'll put our starter there, mouse lift up, and that is 15 weapon handling difference. So for instance, as a comparison point, but we can kind of that is the FAMAS. It goes, it lifts up quite high. Its accuracy though is decent, as we can kind of see until like its later rounds. It actually doesn't spread out as much. If we now go, for instance, to the Lexington, let's put the Lexi here. The Lexington is actually not a copy of any specific, or it is bugged in its side-to-side recoil, one of the two. But it basically pulls slightly to the left, even. But look at the difference in recoil compensation needed there. And we should only really look at the far right FAMAS one there. But yeah, it pulls a little to the left. It doesn't have much accuracy issues. If we kind of actually then compare this to the M4, and this is the reason as well, a lot of people are going, it's the exact copy of an M4. It's not, at least it's not exact. The thing is, the height of it, as you can see here, the M4 kind of pulls pretty heavily to the right. The height of it is kind of the same, but especially the side-to-side recoil is much more left-leaning. Do that again. You actually see that, you kind of have inconsistency quite often between two. May have compensated a little. Actually, I'll lift it up kind of instantly. But yeah. You have the M4 kind of going straight up a little bit and then to the right. You also have a lot of these kinds of things with weapons where they have, where their recoil kind of shifts halfway through the mag. It's also not exactly, for instance, a carbine 7, which is, a similar weapon. So just gonna put it there. But yeah, we have kind of similar recoil patterns there. So for instance, as well, what we have is the AKs, which pull to the left actually as well. And the AKs, of course, have much bigger bloom to them. I'm not doing a perfect test here. This is just, I don't know what distance I was at before, but this, for instance, AK, it pulls to the left, kind of, and then kind of goes straight up. And yeah, that is the difference, for instance, as well, between the AK and a FAMAS, and then the Lexington and the M4 and the carbine. The Lexington has no issues here. That's kind of the thing as well. It is competing to some of the burst weapons because, for instance, as well, the F2000, as we kind of saw, as being one of the burst weapons, it still has quite the pull up. It has basically the same as the FAMAS, even a little bit more. Although, of course, again, as we kind of saw, strikers will kind of even it out a little bit just because of its weapon handling. But the Lexington feels pretty good. On the accuracy end of it, so how many of the shots go kind of to the center, I feel it's not as good as the M4, as directly comparable as the M4. It feels a little bit more like the Carbine 7, which is also good, was also always good at its accuracy. But yeah, but there's basically no downsides to this thing. That's the lesson we want to kind of take away from here. Yeah, let's actually go to a final segment here where I kind of want to talk about balance and why it kind of matters. Yeah, let's go put some of these weapons back in here before I already forget. Oh no, it's from... Let's go back to trigger. Let me see if I missed anything here. What are the best DPS weapons for ongoing since emptying a mag without getting killed? Thanks, your sustain. Carnage is the one I'm going with a lot. I wanted to go with rifles, but it turns out that rifles are actually not that great. They're not horrendous, but Carnage, especially as well being perfect sadist. You need to get used to how much it jumps around. The Negev is very jumpy. But yeah, Carnage as a general pick. I've been doing Carnage and then pairing it with Iron Lung as secondary, just because Iron Lung you can even use it to start with. You don't per se main it, even though you can basically. But it's a really easy starter, and it has enough damage per mag as well to kind of actually use it. You can of course also start with the Scorpio secondary. But I kind of like the Iron Lung for its fire as well. Just sometimes you can just use it as CC. Sometimes you don't need to kill as fast. Sometimes you just need the thing in front of you to not kill you. If it's something like a little bit bigger and dangerous. Yeah, let's talk about the last part here. I'll put that up on screen to start with. And lastly, yeah, we're gonna talk a little bit about my gripes with this, because for a lot of people, I feel the tone has been, "Oh, we got a new OP weapon, yay!" And I'm not gonna begrudge you that if that's the way you want to think about things. But I will begrudge the devs for putting this in after they kind of balanced the ARs. The thing was before the Lexington came in, as we already kind of did the AR video, the AR list there was a lot of picks in there. FAMAS was good, F2000 was good, CTAR was good as just bursters, Fall was good as a decent burster with ammo conservation, but lower RPM, so you kind of had to consider that. Then we had this Carbine 7, which was a good reloader, gave out a little bit more burst, but was pretty handleable. Same for the M4, it had a bit better burst than the Carbine, but gave up a little bit on the sustain end because it had longer reload than the Carbine. Those had long rails with the Fall as well, so if you need a long rail, it was basically also Kingbreaker kind of makes sense because that did be pretty close to everything else. Now the answer to that all is basically, if you have the Lexington, use the Lexington. And that to me is boring, at the very least. At the very least, it's that issue where just because one thing exists that overshadows everything else, we kind of need to use that instead of the variety. Now, of course, here it's a weapon. It's an AR. It's just competing with all the other ARs, especially the high ends. The exotics do other things. But we've had the same issue, for instance, with Striker for the longest of whiles, where if you're going red build, you're basically going Striker, and then you're just playing Striker's thing. It really requires some either pushing or some just curiosity from the person themselves to kind of go play Umbra in the past. Although Umbra is now pretty good, or Heartbreaker in the past. Although again, Heartbreaker is now pretty good now that's been buffed, and Striker has been taken down a peg. Because it's kind of hard to go with the second choice. Why would you, right? You get to run one build at a time. Might as well make it the best build that it is. But we could have had some variety there, because I was still as well, swapping between M4s and FAMASs kind of before the Lexington came in. Because sometimes you just don't want to do all of the recoil compensation needed for F2000 or a FAMAS. And then, for instance, actually, CTAR was one of my go-tos recently. All of that kind of gets bypassed by just this one singular weapon being so good as it is. When you have a best in slot, that kind of takes away all other options in that slot. At least in this case for high-end ARs. We had the same, of course, with Fox's Prayer, basically. But then Fox's Prayer was at least just one piece in a build, and then it wasn't, basically, when Striker became the meta, and we shifted away from high-end reds. We still have other places where there is, like, same here, for instance, with Detox third stat, where I was hoping they would, if they're going to do mods, they should have done rebalancing of the third stats as well. We have basically one pick in there. And that also causes one big issue, is that you have to have the weapon, for instance, when we talk about Detox, you need that third stat to become Detox or be Detox. That means that a lot of weapons that would be viable, when a guard rule drops and it's with DTA and just some silly talent, I'm just going to toss it, right? If that's the way it comes, I'm just going to toss it out. If those were competitive, that would actually cut down on grinding, because if the DTA, the DTH, rate of fire version of a AR, all of them were kind of competitive, that would make it possible to get a version with, for instance, if rate of fire was maybe like 8% or something. I'm just throwing a number out there, but a much more competitive number. Then if I get once I get a drop of a FAMAS or something with a rate of fire or something, I'll still feel good about it instead of, oh shit, it's not Detox, I'm going to toss it. And now that's the same here as well. Why would I care about any weapon drop recently when basically, if I get a guard rolled Carbine 7 or something, or a guard roll, whatever's, as many guard rolls in here exist, multiple FAMAS's guard rolled. This one is not even recalibrated yet. Why should I care about these? And that diminishes just the variety, and then also just the amount of usable items. Because once you have a Lexington, that kind of fixes that. But then now as well, what they've done is actually, of course, we got one, and there were some issues with it. Then they give out a second one at least to fix the issues for the people that didn't get their first one. I'm giving my second one here in the mailbox. I'm just going to let it live there because one is enough for me. And the reason for that as well is on this main account, on my second and third account, I use one character basically as the main character. Here, I'm using 4 characters. That's actually going to be the balancing factor for the Lexington for me, because this thing is going to go into the stash, and 9 times out of 10, I'm going to forget to pull this thing out of the stash before I go do something, and then I'll just run whatever weapons that character has on them, like a FAMAS or something similar. But that's not a really good way to balance your game. Because currently, basically, with the way that it's standing, and what kind of pisses me off as well, again, about it, is just that they just balance the damn ARs, and then they bring this out. I even, on the stream that it was on the day that Lexington got released, basically, to us, they had a stream. I basically asked the question out, and some people helped me by spamming it to get it answered. Basically, it's just that, hey, don't you guys feel this is undoing your recent balancing? And I feel basically what it should have had as a balancing factor is the same as the Harvest, which is basically less RPM. If you're giving it more base damage, just, you know, +5, -4, it would still been one of the best bursters in that category. It would have been like next, because you're still gaining. So unless you're doing +5, -5, which will end up at the same spot kind of. But if you're doing +5, -4, which is kind of in line with the +10, -9 of the Harvest, +10 base damage and then -9 RPM of the Harvest, it would have still been a really good weapon. But now what it basically is like just, right? Like, kind of feel like, why would be even? Like, if you have the Lexington, what is the purpose of all of these? And that is my issue with it, because a lot of people go like, oh, you just want nerfs, and who's going to complain? The NPCs? Are the NPCs going to complain? No, we complain. We should complain. Balance is a good thing. Having variety, having, you know, getting some guns and not having been tied to just having to need the Lexington basically to compete. That is just a bad way to balance it. It is horrendous a way to balance it. This one has actually pissed me off much more than, because I was in favor of seasonal characters. I'm in favor of the modifier, for instance, as well. The seasonal XP thing, yeah, I'm kind of against as well with most people. But yeah, when you devalue everything else of this, that doesn't really help your game, because now you're kind of locking everybody into a singular choice when it comes to high-end ARs. Luckily for them, they made a lot of the ARs, exotic ARs, actually overpowered. So those at least compete, and that will give choices as well to people that will not have this weapon. Especially, for instance, as well, in places where you definitely would use something like Flatline or something like a Heartbreaker Tech Tank or something. Lexington is just so much of a better choice than really anything else. So yeah, that just to kind of talk about balance and why it does matter, why it's not just being grumpy for being grumpy. No, and it's not just the NPCs that will complain. We should be complaining. We would want balance, because balance gives you variety. If only one choice only exists, that takes away all of the other choices, especially now that they actually had done a decent job with the high-ends. I don't think this will get changed at all. I think this will just be an issue for us to deal with. Kind of like the Oreo was for the longest of time, but then Oreo got changed, so maybe not the best comparison. But yeah, the Lexington has come in, and to kind of conclude this video, it is objectively the best high-end AR. It just doesn't have any of the downsides needed to kind of balance it out in any way, especially when we're kind of talking about it being honestly just a 5% better M4. And that is basically a 2.5 times or 2.5% better than a FAMAS, which is a much more hard to handle weapon. When we see it basically top all of the high-end parts of this, high-end AR-wise, it's the Lexingtons. It's Lexingtons all the way down. It is so best in slot that we slot it into the best slots. We have the best slots, and we slot in the best in of those slots, and just everything Lexi. So yeah, if you enjoyed this video or found it informative, or kind of enjoyed me hating myself a little bit, yeah, then if you can do any and all of the algorithm stuff down below, that would be much appreciated. For the next videos, we're going to go into LMGs. The LMG list is completed. It is ready to be turned into video, which is likely going to happen next week. In between as well, I will likely put out a watch alt video, as I'll work on that a little bit as well. And then, of course, further in the future, the rifle list is getting started on. SMG, of course, came out a few days ago. So yeah, go and check those out if you're interested in them, and we'll come back in a few days with the LMG one, definitely. So yeah, we'll end it off there. I thank you for joining me, and as always, have a good night. What I need to do before I forget, yeah, for those joining live or on the stream, yeah, that sign out was for the video, a video that's gonna go up in tomorrow likely. That's not for the stream itself. Let's actually go back to here. Let me quickly see how long this thing actually become. I was joking about it yesterday, it being a 10-minute video, but yeah, with the ranting and raving and stuff, it's in total 40 minutes, which is a little bit long. Still don't feel I made my point well. Yeah, I should have maybe thought about wording that in a little bit better. Yeah, let's actually not have these all marked as junk, because I do want to keep them. Because they're still needed for the burst and sustain tables if any changes happen at any points. Let me catch up here as well. To limited stash space. I mean, it's one way to look at it, yeah. You don't need any other high-end ARs anymore if you have it. Standard AR Striker, is Grupa Cheska preferred over Fenris Cheska? Overall, yeah, but Coyote actually is the top pick. So generally, the top pick for just going with Striker is this, even solo. And then yeah, between Fenris and Grupo, it's the answer is it depends, and it depends on how much you use your secondary. The Fenris one beats the Grupo even at like group grading 27 by a tiny amount, by a really tiny amount. At grade 0, it beats it actually by a decent amount, or like a percentage point. So yeah, it depends as well if you have grading. But even at with high grading, the Fenris still wins. But the Grupo is like a tiny bit behind. But the Grupo also applies to the secondary. So generally, I go Grupo just to also, apply it to both weapons. Because the Fenris, especially if you're highly graded, it's barely a difference. If you don't have the grading though, if you're like at grade 0 and stuff, yeah, the Fenris is actually like Cheska first always, but then Fenris secondary. But then the Coyote is overall the best. But then of course, if you have like 2 or 3 people already running Coyotes, then you can go Fenris or Grupo. That's also why I have a Grupo mask at the ready to like swap in. If there is, if you go into Countdown and there's already a bunch of Coyotes, yeah, I just swap to this. But you could also have a Fenris mask there. That would be about as good. But the Grupo is just universal, which makes it so much easier for me. Bringing the things, stability should affect horizontal recoil and not just vertical. Wait, it affects. Yeah. Yes. I think they just use that as a balancing factor, because some of the weapons. I mean, the thing is, it should, in the end, just because it would be just more logical. That just the way that a human brain thinks. Because now, when you kind of use it, it takes a moment. Like most people will kind of know that something is off with just having infinite stability, and then especially using a Liberty or something, or D50, you kind of know that it's not everything. But then, unless you're kind of told up front that it's just just the vertical recoil being compensated. But I think they're kind of using it as a balancing factor. But at this point, I think they should just drop that. Indeed. Just have it be, stability. Take it down to just being flat. That sounds pretty space. LMG was the best LMG for narrative. Is it actually Carnage? Overall, yeah. That's what I've gone with as well. The only downside of the Carnage is DPS wise and stuff, it makes the most sense. Handling wise is kind of its issue. Because the M249 handles so much better, but even putting like one or two, because also the stability and stuff doesn't per se. What it has is that it sometimes jumps. Like it has like the thing of just it shoots somewhere and then jumps, and then just you have to recoil compensate and jumps. There's that, and that doesn't actually get compensated that well by things like stability and stuff. It does decrease it a little bit, but you kind of just have to deal with it. That works pretty. Yeah, Carnage is the topic. I wanted to go with rifles again for ongoing, but that just didn't work out in the end. Like it just Rifles just, the lack damage. That second stat really hurts them. The police and black market here have different reloads. I think it's very minor. Do you mean just as like full stats? Because I believe there should be variants. Not a weapon type I've looked at much, honestly, but. Let's see what their stats say, and then let's see if we can feel any difference. No. Wait, do I have... Wait, why is the black market in this case the worst one? Oh, actually, yeah, there is. There's a real difference between these. What? Why? Is one the old stat? Wait, is the bases the same? Okay, the basis is at least the same. Also, why is the police? So usually in order of things, it's usually like just the weapon name is like the worst one. Classic usually has -1 mod or is in some way inferior. Usually doesn't have the muzzle slot. Then it's usually like police, and then it's like black market and tactical and stuff like that are usually above police and military. But in this case, actually, if we like the reload becomes a tiny bit better and the stability goes a little bit up, which is odd. Yeah, difference that I hadn't noticed actually. Thanks for pointing that out. There's also like this and maybe the UMPs, because I didn't look at the UMPs at all as being different. I did look at like the MP5s, they were all the same. B5 there. Yeah, so are all the AUGs the same? 211, 211. Because this opens up a whole can of worms to go through. Are there more variants that are off? Because yeah, we also of course have like the Dark Winter as like the famous example. 217. Although wait, was that a modded one? We need the modded one. 217. 217. 212. 212. 212. Okay. Yeah, I'll go through that list. Yeah. Glows out is top and damage and high end and harvest headhunter build versus. Oh, you mean just replacing the Dutch City? Although the thing is, yeah, the Dutch City does more things than that. Because that sounds about right for 9 pistol damage on that build. Yeah. Well, the thing is with the claws out is you use it to get in the memento. Like that's the thing you use it for.
I wish it would cool off a little.
It's the swapping piece for that, basically. Thanks for local is already dropping the seasonal stuff, yeah. Except for the knee pads, yeah. Usually the way that it has worked, and this has been consistent, even though, like for instance, yeah, season pass things aren't anymore. the stuff from the season pass drops before you have the season pass unlock of it. The knee pads, or for instance with the cooler as well, it wasn't in his loot pool until you got it from the projects first. Same for like whatever was before that, like festive and stuff as well. So that kind of makes sense. But yeah, we'll likely get the knee pads from the seasonal projects, and then he'll have it to you. It's an absolute beast. Nah, it's really only a weapon worth using for high loot descent play. Oh yeah, and yeah, that reload difference of it. Although you got to remember still that if you're, for instance, going that like the chatterbox lock-in, locking in chatterbox with bullet hell, because I'm pretty sure. How sure am I? 679 overall here. And 249 with pouch. Actually, yeah, so they're in the same ballpark. And yeah, they're much closer than I thought they would have been. Yeah, actually, yes. Although the FAMAS's accuracy and stuff can be valuable just to hit weak points instantly. That's still going to be its downside in real play. So there's still a case to be made for FAMAS and stuff, especially if you're going bullet hell anyway. But then yeah, you don't need to go bullet hell anymore, because the thing used to be you could you can actually likely with envy. I'll actually next time. Wait, actually, what is the didn't it rotate today? Because also I still need the Nemesis run on second again.
Program active.
Oh no, it rotates tomorrow. Okay, rotates in 2 hours. Yeah, let me get up into here, and then we're gonna go and mod some stuff. Although actually I might swap to second account. I have stuff to do here. I mean, I just need descent, especially done, but I'll wait for a better rotation. We'll do that on Sunday. Because I'll be away as well tomorrow and the day after. Yeah, let's actually make sure this character is cleaned up and not like has a bunch of shit that they're not supposed to have. Yeah, let's actually go to let's put the Lexington back. Let's go to second account, and actually I'm gonna grind that a little bit on the continue my grind on the seasonal journey. When your stash is fully full, you can't actually put the you can't actually add an item to it, even though the item does not use a slot. I need to clean out at some point. Do I have anything just silly somewhere that I can toss? There's also, yeah, there's a lot of leftover pieces. Oh, actually, so that mask is for her. Why is this in here? Is this for 5-piecing character 4? Let's actually go quickly see. Because yeah, this character is gonna get a. Oh, I forgot to put the Lexington there. What creature is going to do is splits, and while you're in Coyotes, mainly using strikers, that's a factor. So generally, I want to get into the 50s, but low 50s basically. That's how I generally go with the Coyote. The thing is, though, that also kind of depends if you're running modifier, because Retribution can be used as like a second Coyote almost. Just extra Coyoteing. extra crit,
Safe
basically. Through
area
it.
detected.
So it kind of depends on if you have that as well.
Low prices?
Yeah, if you missed it, the Lexington does also, actually, I should have talked about that as well. Doesn't actually take an infantry item, and like when I put it in the stash, my stash is 299. It's still 299, and my inventory size also didn't change. It is basically one of those empty items, the same as, for instance, the level 1 Rootless and like Lullaby and stuff like that. Yeah, let's quickly go to character 4. I just want to briefly see if, did I fix up that? I don't know. And it kind of depends as well if you're setting up for... So going into the 50s, you're basically setting up for short range and mid range to be good. But basically, the landing anywhere between like 51 to 54, like preferably in the low 50s, because I just kind of depends also on the weapon, of course. If you're going SMG, actually, I would maybe bump that up. Also, it depends on if you're in a group with an SMG, because then you might get the mid range from somebody else with a. Oh, I've already fixed this. Okay. Because in the end, actually, I did save the Heartbreaker as like a 5-piece. So Coyote goes in here, or I can even go like other stuff. If I want to mess around with it, that's why that's saved that way. Oh yeah, let's go to second account. Let's answer some of these last things, although there's a whole... there's quite a bit to go through still. So I have bug damage, can show me how to activate it. You can have both of the things active on one spot. I don't actually know exactly. Yeah, likely if you swap a bunch. I've been avoiding using it, not for that bug, but because of its reload. So I haven't been using it much. I just want to wait till it's actually working as intended. But yeah, you can have both buffs go onto the same side or to the same weapon. So you can have both the mag size and the weapon damage and rate of fire thing and everything go to one side, basically, which is definitely not intended, but what already as well kind of feels unintended is that it reloads you whenever you go to the magazine side of things. That's kind of why I've been avoiding using it. That's what I said, yeah. And yeah, let's load up second account. This might break out here for a second. I should watch out for that. Just... Yeah, that. But yeah, it's interesting that it is like that. I think audio broke there. But yeah, it is interesting that. Let me fix my audio first. Yeah, it is interesting that there is a difference there, and also that the stability difference is in the wrong direction, basically. Kind of depends on Swallow still if actually the recoil pattern of the weapon isn't worse per se, but usually that stability bar, like usually those two weapons have like the same recoil pattern. Should we change that effect? Yeah. Oh yeah, I kind of agree. Like just also not even as a balancing thing, or but just like that makes more sense in a global way. That would help people just brain-wise understand what stability is when you put it on something. Because with some weapons, when you put stability on it, it just doesn't feel that much different, just because they have heavy side-to-side recoil, like an AUG. And then you go like, wait, what did stability even do?
Safe area detected.
And yeah, priority objective available. So, oh, actually, I'm almost there. Ooh, living on a prayer. Take my Strega and we'll make it, I swear. So wait, what is this due to? What is affecting these, or is it just as I'm gone higher into the thing or something? Because what is 444? Because this is not going to be Summit then? Because this used to be 300. And then plus the 10%. It is going to be Summit. Okay, huh? Or is Summit like in here twice? One as a 300, one as a 444. Or like a 400 something-ish. I know, we're gonna go do that actually, because that's a pretty easy one.
We need you to secure a skyscraper. This may take a while. Hope you
Yes, I
cleared your
noticed that.
schedule.
Start went through, yeah. Yeah, I went through a lot of the, especially, I didn't go that much through, yeah, variants. Although I did actually a bunch of them, but yeah, specifically, I remember with SMGs specifically not doing the T82 and the UMP. It is of course one of those that just then is kind of different. Guys, I went through all of the. I think, yeah. I think I just didn't do the big show still because it wasn't craftable. I think that was the only one. But I'm gonna guess that's, yeah, that was likely also still the same. Because yeah, I kind of remember actually that I forgot about the big show and that. Like I made a big list of like the names and Dark Winter was at least, yeah, the only name that seemed to be different. Yeah, let's take this. We have modifier on. Let's actually equip reversal. Let's take liability. But actually I can, on a Heartbreaker Tech Tech, I can actually get a little bit of damage out of Retribution. Let's take Retribution. I'll take Bite. One of the things is as well, actually, for mod-wise, like, instead of a weapon mod, I would actually, so for instance here, taking a Pressure Piston. Like just the stability. Instead of, for instance, liability or something. Especially if you're not going to be in close range anyway. Why am I... Why was I in pistol? This Orient not helping there.
I got you back.
Let's actually stack on these fat targets. This Orient definitely less annoying than Shot. Still annoying, less so though. Because also the thing is, if there is an enemy that's gonna disorient me, they're also gonna be at in by the teeth range, so they're at least easy to murder if I can get my reticule on them. There.
Shit, get the hell!
It's worth the reload. This is some variants here. I might at some point, yeah, just go through all the variants, see if there's any other outliers. Some of the snipers I definitely didn't check, some of the rifles I definitely didn't check. That's it. Cliff Knights, because there's website. Yeah. Or is this available now from the Loot Goblin? Yeah.
Assault drones detected.
I mean, the Loot Goblin is basically already the Christmas version, so yeah, that's cool. Like all of the previous version, previous festive items, cooler, chill outs. Festive deliveries, Slayer, of course. Oh, Carol. Oh, Carol is actually a fun one to grab as well. So if you don't have those, go and get them. And then likely starting Tuesday, although it will likely be the last project again. So it will be likely that we get it on Monday afterwards, basically. The new... I forgot the name of it again. It's already an expertise here. the snow machine. It machines snow. We'll have that as well. But also, as a tip, if you are hunting for one of the other items, leave that snow machine till like when you're done with that. Because the loot pool of that guy is already pretty horrendous. He's already not like it. The time per drop is pretty hefty. And then he has like, was it 7 and it's going to become 8, or was it 8 and it's going to become 9 with the snow machine items that he can drop? And then of course on the item itself, especially if it's like the harvest or something, then you want the right stats, or the festive, or chill out less. So chill out, you just want blue core anyway. Like if you're gonna use the chill out, you're gonna like have a blue core, so you can always recalibrate that other stat. So that one's basically free, but and same for the named weapons, because all of them are talents, or well, the other ones, the cooler, Slayer and O'Carroll, those aren't free talentable, only the harvest is, so just that one you need. And yeah, they've defanged. Like I'm gonna shoot a purple mini tank. Like, just requital my like that would have definitely killed me in the past. If I had just done something as stupid as just unload on a mini tank with requital. But a requital is basically defanged completely. A build like this that already has some built-in regen through the memento. Like the regen is more than the damage that I'll reflect for myself. Any of your main account boost? Just wondering if you care about all the collectibles in each character. So there are not characters that I want to keep are generally not boosted, and it's not so much for the collectibles, because actually on main accounts, so on this account is basically, so I'm on account 2 now. On second account is basically just this character. I've made for myself the rule, like I really only keep one character on second and third account, which is like the main character there. Our main account though, they're not boosted, but more so for not having that little boosted character in the character loading. Because of course that very much matters. That's just me being silly, but yeah.
Terminal destroyed.
But also, so those 4 characters also, they weren't like made all in the same week or something as a thing. So over time, I was like, hey, you know what? You know what would be fun? Let's go do the campaign again. And then I did a new character, basically.
Drone going out.
So they all started like months apart from each other. But also, like, my setup on main account isn't... I wouldn't recommend that for an account. Like, you wouldn't per se want all 4 character slots filled in with, like, actual characters. Because, yeah, that locks you out, for instance, for hardcore. That locks you out for watch alts. Although I don't mind not having my watch alts on main account. It forces me to be... Like, on this account, quite often, I just go... Yeah, we have a watch alt, and I just slam a billion resources into something. Like Habsburg pieces, for instance, or something. Or a 511 backpack that like took 25k SHD points. I know these guys have stellite. That'll make it nice for me to stack on. And this is a room where, likely see it here. This person just spawned out of thin air. Let's see if we get a second wave, then let's see it happen. Yeah. Just beam me down, Scotty. But yeah, that spawn point is basically incorrectly set. Although likely, I'm guessing it's maybe that door. Or it was supposed to be that door, the spawn point, and it's just, they accidentally blocked it off, and now the game is just going, I'm gonna do it there. That'll be my guess, at least.
Hostile striker drone detected.
You get the first 2 buffs or all with the low 50s, yeah. Although, yeah, that's build dependent, of course, right? Because now as well, like with By the Teeth, I'm staying quite often outside of optimal, and that kind of
Assault
could
drone
actually make me
detected.
change how I set that up, but I just haven't, really. Also, we have a... This laptop is just... He's sick of being on a table. It's one of those premium laptops that has a repulsor field in it. That's just... It has 16G of RAM, and that's not for gigabytes, but gravity. Right? Yeah. I didn't hear the ping there. Okay. These things will die when this is full. Bye.
Terminal infiltrated.
I should go do a key check upstairs. I didn't because the drones instantly assaulted me as I came around this corner. Did I get the key already? I don't think so, right? And this is a common spot for it to be, either down there or up here. Oh yeah, good thing we did. Because this is also the last room here, so. We also got Guardian Award for not dying. For once. We do the campaign a few times, yeah. I'm about the same as well.
Priority objective
On second and third
available.
account, I do have hardcores. I was really hoping for that 5th character slot for a hardcore specifically on main account. Because yeah, I don't want to. I can't really delete the character on there because even like the lowest character on main account, if I inspect that account, because if you didn't know as well, you can / inspect yourself and even like others and stuff. But even the lowest is like 1400 hours. I would have to delete them, and then if I wanted to maybe keep the builds as well, or I would either have to like distribute their builds across the other characters, or maybe like try to stash them or something, but then I would have to completely empty out my stash almost, right? Because it's like 140 items, although well, half of the stash. Because one of the things on main account is that I have a lot of the combinations. I'm just missing a few of the raid ones, like the collectible one where you like shoot the thingies, and some of the boss ones. And I'm missing the hardcore raid. I do have the other hardcore ones, but I'm missing the hardcore raid one, so. 214, this was Descent then? Or was this... Man, I should just write this down. Why didn't I... No, 260 was Descent. Or like 260 or 270 was Descent. Oh yeah, let's go do that countdown one. And yeah, we're just kind of banging out, just getting a little bit of season XP. I'm pretty close to the Strega here, so I'm just going for that.
Safe area entered.
It's a build I think I need for selling out Hunter's Fury. I mean, overall, I prefer this to Hunter's Fury. You can definitely make Hunter's Fury kind of work similarly to this, but yeah, this is much more made to be very, very tanky. Hey, I got a Carbine 7 with D-Talk. I don't care because I have Alexa. That's kind of the annoying thing with it. Like, it takes out a lot of, you know, when you get a good weapon or a good AR or something, it used to feel good because you're going like, I can put this somewhere maybe or use it. That's just not. But yeah, that was the, if you're not familiar with it, it's the Heartbreaker Tech Tank. Did I actually put the Lexington on this build picture? I'm not sure I did. Oh yeah, we did. So either, yeah, Kingbreaker or Fall. Or M4 or Carbine 7. But then yeah, Lexington. Wait, why did I put a Lexington with killer there? What? Let's fix that up. That annoys me instantly.
Good to be seeing you.
Oh, although, wait, we can do that here. This one's grade 20. Because actually on the second account, I'm using both Lexingtons. One of them is going to basically be my always flatline one. And the other is going to be measured / killer or whatever else I want it to be. Well, let's make that other one flatline here as well, just so it's 25. Because that one's 25, this one's 20, because I ran out of exotic components. And then on third account, I actually took... one of the Lexington as a level 31 weapon for Watch Alton. Yeah, that should be that. But yeah, this is the layout of it. Although this isn't actually that character or that build exactly. That's why it's kind of a little bit different in the game. But yeah, overall the same thing. And yeah, definitely this is my go-to solo. Like this is, if I'm playing solo, I'm gonna grab a tech tank definitely, and Heartbreaker, preferably Striker, is also decent. But then actually on main account, each of my characters has a different tech tank. That's kind of that causes me to use different tech tanks, just because I don't want 4 copies. I generally don't copy as much. Oh yeah, also actually yeah, I should maybe copy and paste that into YouTube chats just for those guys. Yeah, let me catch up to some of this here. Well, actually, let's matchmake for... Oh, wait, am I... Oh, no, 806, okay. We, of course, want to take a picture at 808. 8008. At some point when we get there. Yeah, let's matchmake for a countdown real quick. But then the thing is like, I wouldn't take this into countdown. Actually, you know what? We were talking about OD earlier. Let's take OD.
You have received an invite to another
I'm
agent's
gonna just
group.
take the full red OD. I know. That's the
You are now in a group.
Carnage is indeed as well what I went with. And then with LMGs especially, you can go crit chance third stat. And then here this is oh, that's because of retribution. Actually, is that because of retribution? No, it shouldn't be. Oh yeah, actually yeah. So and in group setting, what you need to do is actually take 2 crit damage mods. So that's kind of the nice thing now as well. If I'm playing this thing solo, I want to hit, or maybe we even without Coyote or something. That's why it's kind of set up that way. And then if I have the Coyote in and there's other group members, then I can set it up as, or well, myself and others, and you can set it up with 2 crit damages. Well, actually, I should just save this with 2 crit damages because I'm going to run this mostly with the Coyote. Do we call it? Yeah. So except for so many hours played on 4 characters before hardcore ever even came out, it's really wanted the 5th character slot. Yeah. Although, well, my 4th character was made after hardcore because yeah, I did play hardcore like most of my hardcore playtime till recently was before year 2 even. Like back when back when it went only up to, getting to World Tier 5. But I always kind of held off on playing more of it just because I kind of wanted it on main account. Main account is the one I care the most about. But then kind of when the news came out of a 5th character slot, I kind of went like, okay, I'll make some hardcores on 2nd account and 3rd account and stuff, and just, we can use, with the thinking as well, like if we get that 5th character slot, I can use them to boost myself and stuff and make it easier for me to, level up that one. And now the hardcore on this account is 1k, although a lot of that is the 5 times XP. towards the end of last season, like 500 levels or something of that was like the 5 times XP. And then third account one is like
Communication
150 or
relay
something
offline.
on the hardcore. What's the best gear setup for ongoing? Full red with chest, wicked backpack, and critic. Yeah, either wicked backpack or... So on this one I have wicked backpack, but you can definitely also go vigilance. Vigilance is more, then you can lose vigilance, right? But in countdown setting like this, I would actually prefer vigilance. Because I have seven decoys, I mean
Reactor
teammates.
unstable. Emergency lockdown protocols activated. 15 minutes to lockdown.
And then vigilance, technically, like, it is more damage up front. And even so, for instance, even here, sometimes you have that status effect thingy, right? You have the status effect disabled in countdown. So sometimes you can't even trigger wicked well on these guys because you just can't apply status effect to them. So there's also that. And I really like the Iron Lung against these first few enemies, or against these hunters, because usually it sets them on fire just as they are trying to turn around and run away. I actually kind of really like Iron Lung for that.
Vital signs critical.
See, it was just about to run, and then he got set on fire, and it's just a 2-second CC, and it's enough for... I got health gated there, so I need to watch out for that. Definitely at some point here, I just need to shoot with this other one. My allies will have bleed bullets now, so they'll bleed this guy, and then I can mark him off of that, of course. And then we'll get some special ammo into this thing as well. So reactor cooling, yeah. I'm actually gonna type it out because some people will go towards laboratory. The main is containment, so we would definitely want to stay on this side of the map. But yeah, it's also in the build collection, so 3.01 is I think the OD with vigilance. Instead of minus the Iron Lord, because okay. I mean, yeah. You can't run. Scorpio is a good fill in as well. Honestly, so for instance, if I was open world or if I was solo, for instance, yeah, Wicked with Scorpio would be much more of a thing. Like if I don't have all of the
Incoming. High risk hostile.
allies to help out. And that's kind of the only big downside of the Carnage. Is just it jumps quite around a bit, but you just gotta, yeah. Its damage is enough increase that you just have to deal with it, and it's definitely like it's not unusable. And I was kind of looking for the box there, which is open over there. Yeah, it's gonna be faster this way, right? Hopefully they do go into cooling and not into lab then.
Shade tech detected.
I'm gonna take this, right? Was an official gun? It's not a cheat. Yeah. Yes. So is the modifier, and eventually I'm just gonna turn the modifier off with how much extra damage it is. It does make the game actually at times too easy. I'm definitely getting kind of used to like how much more powerful it is, which it's kind of the same as with some of the global events that are now like super powerful. And back in the day that they were going for like 2 weeks, they kind of outstayed their welcome a little bit.
Hostile assault turret detected.
Oh, actually, I can. If you're not familiar with it, this will link to it. It'll pop up a link in a second. I'll put it in both chats. And then, yeah, it's a number. There's numbers in there basically, which is basically based around the which character it is, and then loadout slot. Yeah, 3.01 is the vigilance one. There should be at least, right? Yeah, 3.01.
Hostile incinerator turret
And then I also have
detected.
actually a wicked one. Although I think I'm showing this one with because one of the things you can go with as well is contractors. Like actually, if there's enough coyotes, so actually in here likely there's enough coyotes. Very
10
likely.
minutes to lockdown.
But I don't care enough about a little bit of extra damage. But then contractors would actually be the pick. You would also kind of lose a little bit of crit chance, so you can bump that up with the. You don't need to drop the. Ooh, what's that?
Area secure.
Agent, you can access the waste
That
area.
guy's loot dropped
Do
underneath
me a
me.
favor and take a decontamination shower before you come back to base.
Things on the. Yeah, that's like an option to go when there's enough peyotes. A capacitor, although in this case, exotic component. Did we get the
Priority
box?
objective available, Agent.
Somebody got the box. We didn't yet. Let's go get that. And to containment we go. Man, I'm just being the slowest today. I'm just always at the
Agent,
end.
you've reached the waste area. I need you to secure the radioactive material to override the lockdown protocols.
I know what he's like. Enjoy the, enjoy the rabbit hole that the build collection can be.
We need to secure that tank and get it back into the sarcophagus.
There's also at the start of it, there's a recommended build list. That's actually the builds that I recommend from it, because a lot of builds on it, like all of the builds on the build collection, I'm kind of fine with, and you know they exist on my characters, so at the very least, I don't hate them enough to kick
That
them
should
off.
be the source of the leak. Now we just need
But
to
some
seal
of them
those
are a
tanks.
little silly, as you will find as you kind of scroll down. So regarding bug, maybe you could show I was trying to do a classified summon that required using an emote. Is there a way to fix it? Did you have directives on? Directives seem. It's the one with the salute, right? It seems to break anything that is emote
Hostile artillery
based.
turret detected.
It's maybe just one of the directives, but I don't know which one. So everybody just turns all of them off. If you didn't have directives on, that would be new, and I wouldn't mind hearing that. But yeah, if it was the boat house thingy where you have to salute at the door, yeah, that one's breaks. Because for instance as well, you can't spawn Yannick with directives on, where you have to do the jumping jack in the one spot. That breaks when. Oh, it might also be that the modifiers also, yeah, affected.
Great work. Now just seal that.
But yeah,
bunker
I don't know if you have
and stop
directives
exposing
on.
the team. Not so
Because that
doses
one
of
definitely,
radiation.
like that's been a known issue for a little bit.
Acceptable level. High risk target detected.
I haven't actually tried since
Good work, Agent.
modifiers
You saved the
existed
plant. Move to extraction point.
to spawn Yannick or something. So.
When you're ready to come home, shoot off a flare.
Is it a close range extraction? It is. So I might see a crash or two. Yeah. So this is the thing with the Lexington. Like I'm getting this thing. Normally I would go like, hey, we got a carbine 7. That's a good looking carbine 7. Now I'm going. Nothing, mate. Me. Another goggle
System
item to
curtailed.
deconstruct.
Agent,
Oh,
stay
that's
frosty. Hunters incoming. When you're ready to come home, shoot off a flare.
Yeah, we're gonna use our long ranginess.
System reactivated.
And our by the teats. It's funny how fast we melt stuff nowadays. Also there actually, so we have the headhunter or the headshot buff, and we also have the long range buff. So the long range buff on top of the by the teeth, which is actually really really making big numbers happen there. So maybe share that FAMAS. Although again, basically everybody will have a Lexington by now. I was in the work time just 100 different days, yeah. I was in the work time. Per day, I think the kids have everything by themselves, so I have to use them on logging, which is annoying. Yeah, it does reset. I don't have directives on, I can try activating them and deactivate them. Okay. Then, yeah, it might be actually that they're broken underneath with something new. Because I'm going to assume then that you've also tried, yeah, turning the modifiers on and off and stuff. Yeah. Yeah, there might be indeed something new than breaking them. Directives definitely broken. Actually, I should go see if, because I haven't tried making Yannick spawn. But very consistently, yeah, you could. There's also another issue that may make him not spawn is if there's a public execution right above. Sometimes that interferes with it, but you can just clear that, of course. But that shouldn't be an issue in the classified. Yes, there shouldn't be like an activity in there. Okay, let's go maybe try spawning Yannick in a sec. I'll return. And actually, yeah, let's have him. Although, yeah, the directives aren't likely. Well, yeah, they likely haven't fixed that, so directives shouldn't matter. We'll just do modifier. I'll go there with the modifiers and see if we can trigger his spawn. And then try with that.
To your location. Hold tight.
See how that goes. Extra rounds in Carnage reaches rate of fire increase. Overall, I would say I go with the extra rounds. But though here, for instance, even I'm survivalist just for the bonus to my allies on the status affected enemies because we're making that happen. You could of course go gunner and go the plus 50.
Let's get you home.
Like if you're solo, you might as well go that. You might as well go gunner. Somebody likes massaging my face with a shotgun. I'm gonna hit reversal here actually and decimate this wave. $3.6 million a shot there at like 750 RPM. So we'll see if I can make it work later. Yeah, if you get it to work. Hearing if what helped, because that could be useful for others as well. Because yeah, the max size taking the 5 rate of fire is doable, but yeah, it's a decently long reload, right? You don't want to hit it too often. Because it's still at 3.4 even with the actually, I'm gonna hang on to that Carbine 7. I'm gonna put it on the second character on this account, which like has just a run around build. Might as well. Because currently I think they still have an ACR as their like run around weapon. Yeah, let's actually yeah, I don't have any directives on anyway. Keep my modifier on. Let's put on a PFE build. Well, actually, I can always swap right before I get there, man. Let's just run there. Let's see if we can make The beard spawn. It's 5 piece 511 with ninja. Yeah. Nothing else. Exactly. It's 511 it up. Although well, actually technically it's 6 piece even, you know. Where's the build? But yeah, that's also in the build collection as slot a 5.11 because you know that that fits like that. Because she in countdown. I don't think they did it on purpose or anything. I think it's off in raids as well and such, right? It might just be to reduce clutter on the UI. Maybe somebody thought that was a good idea. Also, it's not the worst idea. You don't like a lot of people are snobby about SHD levels. When SHD basically
Hostile control point detected.
means nothing, so there's plenty of people in the 10Ks even that are going to be so much worse than some level 50 that is actually running just a striker and just knows how to play shooters. Oh, I'm full on. And yeah, these guys also have Christmas hats on if you hadn't seen it. Like basically all of the... Because the Hoarder is from these guys' faction, which is the ambushers. But yeah, these guys also have... They're in a festive mood. Could you come a little bit more into the light? Oh, yeah, or step back into the light also. Sir? Anyway. Yeah. But yeah. Christmas hats. Tom Clancy The Division is a serious shooter in which we do war crimes. Yeah. Especially, yeah, not exactly. But there's some value to it because if you load into a match and it was just all level 1s, at least you kind of knew what you were up for, or like double digit SHDs. Let's grab the cabinets along the way. And now for those not familiar with this Easter egg, there's this little spot here, a circle. And it has like a thing with an X, and it's kind of doing like wave your arms like you just don't care. So we will wave our arms like we just don't care, which is just jumping jacks. There. No, he spawned. So. And that spawns Yannick the Beard. This guy's a rogue. And he actually hits pretty hard and stuff. Also, oh, actually, he has a hunter melee as well. So he is actually very dangerous. But I have reversal, so. And yeah, development on the game now ceased because we killed the lead dev. Or the lead producer. He is no longer alive to actually produce the game, so. But it looks to be that, yeah, it's maybe still just because the modifier there did not, at least here, interfere with the emote. So yeah, I'll be curious actually to see. I might actually mess around with that one as well. With that, classify. Chuds? I'm gonna guess that's like there's some acronym there. Especially using striking rounds at the end of kind of killing whole squads, yeah. And the thing is as well, like it might be their very first countdown or something, like you never know. Even at 10K, you know. It would be odd, but it's still possible, but more likely than that, it's just they've never been told not to. Also, sometimes there's just language barriers as well, right? Like, I've told plenty of people, like, hey, don't use your... Are we on normal? It feels like I'm on normal. We're not. We're on heroic, but... I mean, intimidate helps a lot. I also, yeah, I turned this into Kieran for some reason. No, let's go back. We're just going and getting keys. Would be nice, yeah. Exactly. Would be nice. Yeah.
Hey, agent, come check this out.
His reloading sound, like every time he fires, it should be like Although I can't shake talk him after that. Because like, or about that because yeah. After his passing, yeah. Although we've killed him many a times, he keeps coming back. I think he has a revive hive as well. Like that's the thing, right? We get to respawn, so he gets to respawn too. Yeah, let's actually see what our next priority objective will be. Yeah. So this 267 was descent then, right? Let's actually take this. I needed one more stronghold. Or in here somewhere. District Union, so this one with its lower reward could be that. Otherwise we can always abandon it. Oh, yeah. I'll do a district. What will I do a district as? Oh yeah, let's run the Ridgeway Hunter's Fury, I think. Actually, you know what? Let's suffer. We're talking about the 511. Earlier today, I ran it as through a normal mission. Let's actually run 511 build through a heroic mission. I'm not going to take any directives. I'm going to keep the modifier on. I'm going to abuse the modifier, basically. It's still a very low damage build, though. Although, well, it's not a purple build. I'm also just gonna put the Lexington there because I don't wanna like deal with remembering burnout. So we are kind of cheating, but it's fine because I'm me and I get to. I make the rules, so. Ballistic, yeah. That's what it is now, yeah. Yeah. After killing the beard, you get buffed. Yeah, I get his beard, right. That would actually be funny if you kill the beard, and even if you have a female character, you just get a beard for like 10 minutes. That should totally be a thing. I feel that's like literally something World of Warcraft does at like as a joke quest, right? If you kill the beard, you become the beard. Oh, we should totally do that as a joke thing as well. Just try to convince people that if you kill, I might actually just put that as a joke thing in the things and stuff because we've already done the beard. But then like they've changed it now that if you kill the beard, you get the beard, and then like people will go and try, and we will laugh at them for believing me. Which actually, yeah, maybe yeah. Maybe we'll lay it on thick and say you get double XP for all the comms after and stuff. Maybe that will make people, or maybe we just put it in the Christmas video thing as a thing. But then we can of course like change our character to have a beard, and then maybe we do a very badly photoshopped beard on a female character. I feel that could be funny. We're gonna turn you into is it United? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
This is a chance to wipe out the hyena leadership in one.
And yeah, this build, of course, is the bestest build ever.
Every last
Actually,
one.
I'm kind of curious. Like, where's right there. Now with the modifiers and stuff. Look how powerful this thing is. Who needs anything more than 6 pieces of 511? I was kind of thinking of resetting there to legendary and seeing if I just stick in long range, if I can just clear that first. I'm pretty sure I can. Let's not though. Might go down a being there for a bit. But yeah, especially at with by the teeth, I'm still hitting for like a million. Yeah, I still, yeah, what was this? I will do that for a little bit towards the end here. Might go React style for. There was a video, but I'm kind of curious actually how they derived some of their numbers. But it was about high-end glass versus strikers, and according to them, it was the crossover point was at like 65 stacks, which I'm pretty confident in saying it wasn't. But I actually didn't watch the video. It was like a 4-minute video. I'm going to watch that together at the end here. Because I'm kind of curious how they derived that. Because today there was a whole discussion about... Oh, actually, I didn't even read if there was any follow-up there. Because I answered, kind of give my thoughts on that whole discussion, and then kind of... Because in the, like, the community Discord, my community Discord.
Asshole coming at me.
There's a whole discussion about basically a heartbreaker and striker and stacking and like what stacks better, what stacks worse, and then also like high ends being competitive or something, but which they really aren't. It's the downside. And a lot of that discussion was also, yeah, kind of on that how many stacks the crossover point was, and that was at 65 with that other person's video. The crossover point between like an Coyote, Cheska, strikers, obliterate strikers versus high-end glasses. So in the past it was 42, and then with the changes it's 49 for the common builds. So either he went with maybe a non-common build, but even if it was like Fenris instead of Cheska, with maybe, or maybe it was like a Palisade or something. that could maybe explain. Kind of curious actually how he got these numbers. I totally forgot to like rewatch or actually watch that.
Oh, this is gonna be fun.
This thing actually now does basically the same damage as a normal glass red or something, just because of the modifiers. Even a little bit more than that. At least, well, in short range with liability up, it's kind of like that. And then,
Circuit breaker detected.
but yeah, we're getting carried here by the modifier, definitely. This might be actually a good way to nerf myself a little for the modifier. And then yeah, with by the teeth at long range, we're just doing a striker normally with that modifier.
This armor's falling apart.
And they did orbiter. Okay, the old grenades, yeah. I mean, yeah, and then wow, they usually don't take stuff out often, yeah. Because they were consumable anyway, so eventually most of them will be gone. Great, so yeah. Let's actually be, I mean, well, this one in my short range. Let's kill this one at mid-range. My armor bar didn't even move. I really do like the outline when you're aiming at enemies. It's I'm gonna miss that the most, because even like through explosions and stuff, you get a real clear picture of what you're shooting, and especially as well, like if you're like, you know, aiming up or down to maybe like hit weak points or something, and it's behind something and you can't kind of see it through like smoke or something. You can realize that you can't hit it very quickly just because it doesn't give the outline. So for instance, like if I want to hit the pouch there, I know that, oh, okay, I can't. It's gonna... That's the thing I'm gonna miss the most once this is gone. My armor bar didn't move at all. I killed... That was just... I mean, it was just a red. Yeah, I'm gunner, actually, right? Yeah. So, just the 10% armor and kill offset whatever incoming I take there. I haven't even used the armor pack yet. A bluey.
Oh my!
We're set up in the mall. They're not getting through here. Don't die, motherfucker. Not a chance.
If this was without the modifier, I would just think like if you just look at the kill speed and stuff, you would think, it's just a high-end red obliterate or something. And for those thinking that that is maybe the case here, dun dun dun. Who needs brand bonuses, right? I feel that's kind of how powerful, yeah. This feels like a glass red, but then also not in the incoming. Only in the outgoing. Stellite. Can I suppress you? That will work out, actually. Schleipner! You have to yell out Sleipnir whenever it activates. It's like casting Fireball. You kind of have to say Fireball. Or Lightning Bolt. Oh, he has...
Immediate medical assistance needed.
I forgot about the Stellite he has at long range. We're almost dead. Jesus Christ. And this is the thing I was talking about. Like, Stellite is the thing that actually gets me killed. Because sometimes you just expect something to die at a certain speed and you just forget that he's not going to. Now you get yourself killed. Was there a different enemy that had short range? Or did I just completely misread? I think there was another enemy that had short range, right? I think in my brain he had short range. But that was maybe like an enemy next to him. When I entered the room. It's like this, well, this evening I can't make it too late because I start pretty early tomorrow. So likely we'll bang out a few more of these. Priority objectives. At least want to get to the point of the Strega. And this is kind of also the thing with, yeah, that third stat rant that I went on. Like if DTA as a stat, like if this was maybe like 11 or something, so it was as a full bar like worthwhile and just, you know, competitive against DTOC, then when you get a weapon like this, you go like, oh, okay, we get the usable weapon or something. But now it's just instant deconstruct. Because that would make it much more as well easy for people to get geared up, because yeah, you wouldn't need it per se to be DTOC or the right talent to put DTOC on it to be usable. Okay, so maybe we set up long range. We're gonna kill all the enemies. Set a plan here. So he has a few barrels around him which you can shoot, but I'm just actually gonna shoot him. And now we're gonna Sleipnir. Sleipnir! Sleipnir! Actually, that might be the battle cry. Sleipnir! You know, really put some gusto into it.
Back away!
Serious trauma detected.
Let's not risk it.
What's going on down there? Diesel, are you dead too,
It's
you
like,
inbred
no.
son of a bitch? Everybody get to
Yeah.
the arena, now!
Because you can shoot these barrels or just like lob an explosive or something. That will do massive damage to the car. But also, yeah, we were at long range specifically for that reason. But that's Sleipnir worked kind of well there. Just we're hitting for 1.7 millions at like 1,000 RPM or something, or even more because of the Sleipnir. Actually, how much does the Sleipnir become when it's active? We can actually go and find that answer because the LMG list. Control F. Sleip. 1220. With the pouch. And 1110 with the rate of fire, because your mag size is the thing that decides your, yeah, how much bonus RPM you get. So yeah, that makes sense actually. And here,
Airborne toxins at
I'm gonna use
unsafe
outer
levels.
run again
Filters
just to
failing.
run straight.
Air filter function restored. Air quality acceptable.
Listen up. We got devils in our house and they mean to kill us all. Stand and fight. You hear me? Stand and fight.
We'll make it nice and dark in here. That way they can't follow us. But it's actually really hard once you do this to actually like find your way into here and through here. Like if you don't know exactly like the way. I got Record will make no difference there.
Airborne toxins at unsafe levels. Filters failing.
I was with. I'm gonna bury you.
Holding down the button there for no reason. What was that?
You should patch up his armor.
I know, when the boss spawns. There's also the downside of like making an alt almost thing. Because we're gonna do the Division 1 thing of just I'm gonna activate my
Immediate
my
medical
alt and
assistance
then get
needed.
that.
Agent
Yeah, I'm
malfunction.
right there. Oh, yes. But yeah, if you hadn't had that, he would have been instantly dead. 'Cause I was kind of trying to burn him down with reversal.
Agent vital signs 0.
That's dumb of me. Exceeded the amount of damage we could take there. I was playing it like I'm a tech tank. I'm not. But also, actually, yeah, if he had come in without the Stellite, he would have been dead. That was my plan. Like, I just reversal him and just murder him. And then again, yeah, another way that Stellite got me killed, where the other things generally don't.
Don't try to run. Leave this.
Oh, that worked out well. Staggered me to behind him. And then my Banshee went through him as well. Although I don't want to use my Banshee up yet. Not too great. I should take a med pack here. Should just foam grenade him here. That's actually what I should do. And what I should be doing is not be running 6 pieces 511.
Serious
That's the
trauma
actual
detected.
answer. If we're looking for the actual answer, is don't run 5 pieces or 6 pieces 511 because
Taking out the hyena leadership leaves the faction in disarray.
It's not a good
I'll send
idea.
teams to start securing the supplies and the equipment those bastards were hoarding. And I'll let Odessa know. The theater settlement will be able to rest a little easier now.
actually I'm gonna hang on to that one. Yeah, that was also one of the journey things, so we got a decent amount out of that. Also, briefly, 808. Let's get a screenshot of that. We're totally not, turning calculators upside down at all. Although, yeah, you would need a 5 at the end as well, right? It's not one of them, it's 2 of them. 5 plus Ninja Way. Because that makes it actually, yeah, so much weaker that it's... I do like having my vigilance. Because otherwise you are kind of eating into the build a bit. Because, yeah, we don't want to struggle too much because, it's still so much weaker than just the Obliterate Red.
Agent, priority
Good to
objective
see you.
Of
available.
course. So,
Thanks for the business.
let's actually offload this thing. I have another thing I picked up earlier. Actually, this thing can also go. That was in there for when we did the Habsburg build picture. Or the Hotshot Habsburg. other junk I just have lying in here now? Actually, yeah, did I reach the Strega yet? I did, okay. Finally also have it done this account. And now leveling actually outside of like it getting bugged, like it did for me as well on main account and like second account. If you didn't have it get bugged, it's actually a super long grind. Like this is way too long of a grind. They definitely need
Thanks for
to
making a deal.
make it so that at least they need to make it so that a big piece of or a big amount, like maybe not one level is one level in season, but maybe like one level is 33% of a level or something, season pass wise. Yeah, let's actually see if we get any. Because yeah, let's maybe make it to 70. I don't need any more strongholds. Is this actually descent? No. Maybe there is like variation in there. Oh no, like 2-0 something was descent, right? Yeah, we're gonna do one Kantan here. You know what? We're even gonna run it as this. We did get the reconfiguration blueprint of the Strega, of course, as well with that. I need to reconfigure 5 times. Let's do that actually to this. Likely we'll need even more than 5 likely, right? Well, no. Oh, shit. What do I recalibrate now then? Or reconfigure now then? Because I was going to reconfigure that thing. I was going to say, like, it's going to take me 12 times anyway. And it took me 1. The one time I wanted actually to reconfigure a bunch of times just for the journey step, because I need to do it 5 times. Because I was saving it for that. I was saving my exotic components and those 5 reconfigurations for that. What we should do is just get... actually, yeah, we can just do this. We should just get a random exotic... Oh wow, I have a bunch saved up here. Oh yeah, I should actually grab them on. Oh wait, actually, yeah, that's what we should do. Well, let's see what we get here. Medium. Yeah, I'll reroll actually some. Let's maybe do that before we forget, and then we'll go to discount album. I'm gonna go on the hardcore, and I have a few things there that could use reconfiguration on the hardcore end.
Safe area entered.
Because I'm gonna have some weapons in here that could use a reconfiguration, right? Capacitor is an option. Lady, that very much isn't. Pasty is an option. Because likely as well, we're not even going to get a stat that we're looking for. Let's go for a Scorpio. Scorpio is likely, even though I already have a Detox Scorpio, just for the next character. If a next character. When a next, yeah. Whenever we lose our hardcore again. So let's get this out of the way because I've been withholding on that. Because I really get detog in 4 here or we give up. Because also I don't want to just burn resources. I just want to get that one journey step done. And then the only thing remaining is actually... The only thing remaining is a Nemesis run. And then actually... How many do I have left? 15. Let's see if we can get detog on this thing. We'll just burn through everything. What does the PBM mean? This is at the top. Although it's easy to miss, so understandable. But yeah, so BM is Big Mag. P is a plus 50 round mag, and then in the mag slot you can also take rate of fire. So that is an option that, especially for instance on the GR9 and stuff, you should be taking the rate of fire mag, because otherwise you're actually like really far behind with the GR9. So why am I disinvested in getting this thing now? Now I want it, right? This thing. Right, just give me a DTAC. There we go. How many was that actually in the end? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That's about right as well. 12 minus. At least that one's ready for the next hardcore whenever they happen. Also, did I have actually a priority objective on hardcore here? Didn't I have? Oh, I actually had District Union. And also, this was before I had all of the modifiers. So it's still called a week. Let's actually abandon that here. We'll leave them just on this, but... maybe we'll decrypt. That's fine. We'll do that next time we'll load it. Totally forgot about that. No worries. And as a common question, it's just we gotta, and then yeah, Big Mag is just L86 and RPK, because yeah, they don't have pouches or anything, right? So they're just Big Mag.
Safe area detected.
But then even with some of the 100 round ones, you could take basically the rate of fire mag. Although actually in the LMG one, I did actually exclude. Oh, actually, I'm on the wrong thing there without the chat. On the LMG one, I did actually exclude the what's it called? The MG5. So in the burst and sustain list. Also, let's close the Lexi. Burst and sustain list. I actually have the MG5s as well with rate of fire mag. But I think that would be just...
check something out?
It's a little bit too silly. Like 50 round MG5, just, yeah. They would just be always on the top and they wouldn't really be like a real, right? That would be... Oh, actually, I'm basically out of resources and stuff. I need to do a watch alt run on this account. But we're likely going to do that on Sunday. And then I need basically to do 2 watch alt runs. So I might actually use that as an opportunity to also do the watch alt video and record all of that up. Because basically both of the old ones, one of the gear, one with the like how to do it. Both of them are now kind of out of date because of the changes this season. You know what? We need to do 1 countdown. Let's actually go do that. We'll get up to level 70. That'll be a good place to leave it as well. We need to just go do a countdown. Let's go do that. I'm gonna run it. Let's see if I get kicked. Keep going over there. I need to go over here. I'm gonna run it with the Strega and the 511 build. Yes.
Invite to another
Yes,
agent's
why
group.
not?
Receive.
It's kind of a dick move to
You
my
have
team,
joined
but
a group.
actually, if the team is super weak, I might just go Striker. Actually, the team is not gonna be very weak because Amateur's already in there. I think he was just, trying to stream snipe, basically. Let's see how I do with 511. And my modifier is on. One thing with countdown that you do want to do is make sure that your modifier on before you join. If you toggle it, if anybody toggles it in there, on or off, that's when the enemy modifier starts happening. That also includes if somebody gets crashes out or gets delta and stuff. That will count as the same, and then the enemy modifier starts running. Because actually in countdown, it's basically just all the benefits without any of the downsides, really. Most of the time.
We need to remove the virus from the control servers and restore comms.
Good for you, Versa, yeah. Yeah, same here. I'm going for the priority here. But yeah, this will also be my last thing, as I do need to go to bed
Emergency
a
lockdown
little bit
protocols
early.
activated.
A long
15
date for
minutes
myself
lockdown.
tomorrow work-wise. It's also why I won't be streaming tomorrow, and by the look of things as well Saturday. It's not completely clear yet. I might actually do a Saturday afternoon, that might be possible, but by the look of things evening won't be possible. But as well, tomorrow the video we recorded today will go up, which is the on the Lexington, and kind of my gripes with it. We need to go turbine containment. So for instance, here the Strega, while we were talking about it like being good, here it's basically completely useless, right? Because actually, against these enemies, like even if I get the kill shot here, even if I were to get the kill shot there,
System back online.
it's not gonna, like, there's nothing in range for it to mark. So that's kind of the situationality of like killer and Strega and stuff like that. You kind of gotta consider what you're doing with them. Because even here, I might not get like the kill shot on much.
Initiated.
Partially because also I'm running a 511
System
build.
curtailed.
That won't help the matter.
The target should be nearby.
System restored.
That was not the call out for this. That was the call out for somebody went containment already.
System disrupted. System reactivated.
That's the call out for hostiles.
System malfunctioning. System back online.
Stay in the circle. I'm gonna go for that server.
Critical systems exposed.
Which mostly sucks for that person themselves.
Disrupted.
They will
System
exclude
reactivated.
themselves from a lot of loot.
Data transfer halted.
I got that loot.
High risk target
So we're gonna
approaching.
make some loot on the other end in a second.
Area secure.
On to containment. I'm curious what he's running. And one of the things is, especially now with the modifiers as well and stuff, people can't actually stay alive and actually do like, I mean, unchallenging, you would always kind of like solo a place if you needed to, but people can get away with it. So people start doing this more and more, which is just, it's costing others loot and stuff, and it's costing themselves loot and stuff. So I'm curious what they're actually running as well. Heartbreaker with Fox and Catharsis, okay. Because yeah, first of all, just the Heartbreaker is the original one of just don't put Fox's Spur in it unless you're running a rifle, which it's a Heartbreaker set, so it's even less of a thing to run a rifle. Because yeah, Cheska beats that like outright by a lot.
High value target detected. High value target neutralized. Incoming. Risk hostile.
Yeah, basically, I don't want to die though. They've killed, I think, 1 wave so far, so I haven't really been impacted here. Didn't get the kill shot there. They're going for the drones there, actually. The kill on them would have counted.
Area secure.
Agent, head to the administration building.
But yeah, be a team player. If you're in Countdown, be a team player. That will make you a lot more liked than just trying to go solo a spot and just...
10 minutes to lockdown. Evacuate the facility.
To override safety protocols, eliminate security breach. Failure to override protocols will result in a full communications shutdown.
Admin right here.
Priority objective available.
Shut up, Anna. Available. And the hater flooded. Someone's going cooling.
Secure the area so we can bring in the engineer.
We don't even need them. Let's see if they notice.
Protect the engineer.
That's it. They're wasting their time. Or they'll get us 2 more 2 more countdown coins basically by completing that, which we're likely gonna complete the main before they complete that if they were to stick. At least as a 2-man, so.
Agent, you've reached the administration building. I need you to fix the comms.
Our downside as well, they're keeping, we have 2 decoys less in here. I mean teammates.
Trojan virus detected. Safety protocols activated.
Which makes this take longer. Just kind of the downside.
I know it's
Go
your
down
favorite
the
job.
middle.
I need you to search the control room and find the server.
Down and out.
I'm gonna not stay in it. See if this guy stays in it. Yeah. There you go. Strax. That guy seems set up for that. I'll leave that to him.
Nice job. You're a pro. Now,
Oh,
just
nice.
need you to
Okay.
find another server.
He was indeed hanging around there to do exactly what I was hoping he was gonna do, which is instantly start that. So I set myself up here to
Incoming.
instantly start
High risk
this.
hostile.
Oh, we're at long range, so we can move it. There actually we made some stragglers happen. And one of the things is sometimes you see straggle marks from others. It's very inconsistent, but yeah, whenever you do actually see straggle
Whoever
marks from
said tech
others,
support was boring.
it will
One more
actually
server and you can reboot
work,
the system.
which is very odd.
Warning. System breach. Initiating safety protocol.
High risk target approaching.
Well, I mean, you need to be holding a Strega to get the damage buff, but if you are holding a Strega, then you get damage.
Hostile artillery turret detected.
Exotique. Capacitore.
System rebooted. Communications restored.
Exotique. Well, nice of the game to give me some streamer luck at the end of the evening.
Over here!
Immediate medical assistance needed.
So we got 2 exotics in one room. 2 exotics, 1 cup.
Nice. The plant's secure. Now let's get you out of there. Move to the extraction point. Hilo is ready when you are. Shoot a flare to signal Taurus.
Ooh, what's the... okay. They already triggered it. Well, they haven't triggered the hunters yet. Yeah,
System curtailed.
I want to be
Get on that Hilo.
stay
We've got
long
hunters
range.
incoming.
It'd be nice if it wasn't body blocked as much, but
System back online.
I did not like how hard I hit him there. The extractions nowadays, especially if like a few people know how to deal with modifiers, it becomes exceptionally easy. Because, you know.
System malfunctioning.
So actually here is one place where I could actually maybe get a few stacks on a hunter or two, just especially as well because I'm like doing the long range
System
thing
reactivated.
correctly.
When you're ready, send up a flare so Taurus can pick you up.
You know what? I'm gonna trigger reversal here. So we have a few stacks going. That way. Yeah, same again, like guard roll DTA weapon is basically useless. Also, it's a high-end AR, so it's double useless. Is the duration of the circle constant, or does it want how many people are in it? This. Which circle? Oh, do you mean just objectives and stuff? So for most objectives, no. So anything that you like activate, the button and stuff, all of those are no. There's only one type that does matter, which is the SHD crates. So with the SHD crates, it is every person that's in it, it's basically a tug of war thing. So the more, like if there's like 3 agents in there and 1 enemy, it's gonna give 2 ticks to the agent side basically, and each tick is 5% per like however often it ticks. So with the SHD one, the SHD boxes that spawn the skills and stuff, both in Summit and in here, it yeah, it matters how many people are in it. With everything else, and I think that is actually literally everything else, because there's not even like the raid ones and stuff. It's basically the 1 person is the same as all 8 of us being. Or flares. Also, they were all fired kind of around the same time nicely.
Torres is in position.
Also, now I realize that I've actually barely eaten today. I will need to actually eat something before I go to bed. Kind of hungry. But that's a problem I can solve. As long as I don't make it too late, which we're not. We're just gonna end it after this one. Actually, in the background of it already. Yeah, we're gonna get 140. So yeah, they didn't even get the VIP in the end. Although I think they just left it at the end. Because yeah, we got only 2 encounters. This would be 142 if they had gotten that VIP as well as the third objective. As the reason you don't do the third objective is because it's just 2. So.
Entering safe area.
It's a lot of pop-ups. There, yeah, in the background I'm gonna go already set up to see if we can raid someone, as we always do. But let's get cleaned up first.
Here to check
And
something
at least
out?
now this account also has the Strega, which, yeah, the leveling is actually really slow. Like actually way too slow. I can kind of see the the complaints now very much so, because you basically have the weeklies, you have the journey, and I've already basically done most of the journey, so some of these are going to still give 250s, but 250s basically, yeah, it's 1,000 per level. 1,000, although, well, this is 250 plus 10%, which is another 25, so 275. For some of these still, but also I've done all of them almost, and then I've done a ton of priority objectives, and we're kind of still not, we still have a bunch of levels to go. This does mean though that, yeah, it's going way further into a season, but it's also a little bit too much. Like, I could definitely see this being slashed in half almost. But yeah, I hadn't noticed actually how bad it was, as most people, just because of the... Because yeah, I had basically jumped to 100 the way that most people that played in week 1 had at that point. Yeah, let's set up for raid. Let's see actually is available. Yeah, let's go with Metal. He's been up for a while. I'm hoping he'll keep going for a little bit, but he's in the middle of a invaded Manning, legendary Manning. No, just Manning. Yeah, just Manning. Actually, yeah, it's not invaded this week. No mind. We're gonna go raid Metal. I'll be back not tomorrow, likely also not Saturday. I might be able to do a Saturday afternoon stream because, or maybe even evening, because it's kind of up in the air. I might have to fill in for someone, and I'm just trying to get out of it and find somebody else because I just want to just not work as much. But definitely back on Sunday for where we'll continue. Of course, need to do more on the build collection. We have the rifles and shotguns and pistols and MMRs still to go for making the lists, the big lists to go. So those will happen. The build collection needs to happen quite a bit, and hopefully we'll get a bunch of those done in the next 2 weeks. Mostly done, basically, and then I can go back to the Descent guide, which has been just put off for almost 2.5 months now, which is a bit long. And yeah, tomorrow as well, where the video today recorded the Lexington, that'll go up tomorrow. And then Sunday likely we'll record, actually, Sunday or Monday, we'll record the watch alt video while doing some watch alts. So that'll then go up in that week, and then also in that week, the LMG one is now done as well, so we can do that one somewhere towards the end of next week, and then we have kind of some of the stuff set. But for now, enjoy yourselves some Metal, who is doing. Is it legendary? It's kind of hard to see. It's a small preview window. Oh no, it's just heroic. Oh, it's the Mari Singh mission. Okay, that's why. I'm already like, wait, that's a Black Disc guy, but it's the Mari Singh mission. That's why. And yeah, I'll be back maybe Saturday afternoon, maybe just also Saturday evening, but definitely Sunday. So we'll continue definitely then. Thanks for joining, and as always, have a good night.